Google Gemini just changed everything. You can build tools, automate your whole business, and save hours every single day. And the best part? No coding, no tech skills, just Gemini. This is the full 3-hour course and I'm giving you everything. Okay, so let's talk about Gemini because Google just went absolutely crazy with this thing. We're talking smarter models, video generation, browser automation, and a personal assistant that plugs straight into your Gmail, calendar, Drive, and photos. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through all of it step by step with zero fluff and zero wasted time. At the end of this 3-hour course, you'll know exactly how to use Gemini to build real tools, automate real tasks, and grow a real business. I'm going to be using the AI Profit Boardroom as our running example throughout this whole video, so everything you see is practical, relevant, and something you can actually steal and use today. Hey, if we haven't met already, I'm the digital avatar of Julian Goldie, CEO of SEO agency Goldie Agency. Whilst he's helping clients get more leads and customers, I'm here to help you get the latest AI updates. Julian Goldie reads every comment, so make sure you comment below. Gemini in Google Workspace is insane. Google just made Gemini insane inside Google Workspace. It reads your Drive, it reads your Gmail, it writes, it builds, it scores near human expert level on real tests. And most people have no idea this even exists yet. I'm going to show you every single thing it can do and how to use it right now to save hours every week. His is not a drill. This might be the biggest AI upgrade inside Google ever. Now let's get into this. Because what Google just did with Gemini inside Workspace is actually wild. So here's what happened. Google announced that Gemini can now pull context from your Google Drive, your Gmail, and the web all at the same time to help you write, build, and get things done across Docs, Sheets, Slides, and Drive. Not just one tool, all of them together. And it does not just paste stuff in for you, it actually understands what you're trying to do, it matches your format, it searches smart, it builds full dashboards and sheets from scratch. Let me break it down piece by piece. Let's start with Google Docs. So before this, AI in Docs was pretty basic. You could ask it to write something, it would write something generic. Cool, whatever. Now, it pulls context. That means if you've got a strategy doc in your Drive from 3 months ago, Gemini can pull from that doc automatically to help you write a new one that actually matches your voice, your format, your structure. Here's a real example. Say you're running a community like the AI Profit Boardroom. You want to write a new onboarding guide for new members. Instead of starting from scratch, you just tell Gemini, write a new member onboarding guide for the AI Profit Boardroom, pull from the existing community guidelines in my Drive, match the tone of our welcome email from Gmail, keep it simple, clear, and exciting. And it does it. For an AI building dashboards and running multi-step workflows in a spreadsheet, that's insane. So what does multi-step work actually look like? Let's say you want to build a dashboard to track everything happening inside the AI Profit Boardroom. You want to see new member signups, engagement scores by content type, top performing posts, churn rate, all in one place. Old way, you'd spend half a day building that manually. Formulas, pivot tables, formatting, color coding. It's a nightmare. New way, you say, build me a member engagement dashboard for the AI Profit Boardroom, pull in columns for member name, join date, post made, reactions received, and churn risk score. Add a formula to calculate engagement score out of 100. Color code the churn risk column, red, yellow, green. And Gemini builds it step by step, not just one formula, the whole thing. This is what the 48% score means in real life. It can handle complexity. It doesn't just do the easy stuff. Now here's something I want you to think about, open loop here, because we're going to come back to this. Gemini isn't just doing tasks anymore. It's starting to act more like a coworker. Early testers literally use the phrase seamless AI coworker to describe it. And I want to show you what that actually means in practice across Drive and Gmail. So stay with me, let's talk Drive. Smart search is now a thing in Drive, and it's not just keyword search, it's contextual search. So if you type something like, find that doc where we talked about the content strategy for Q2, it knows what you mean. It searches based on context, not just exact words. That's huge for anyone managing a lot of files. For a business like the AI Profit Boardroom, where you've got content plans, SOPs, onboarding docs, member resources, finding the right file fast actually matters. And combined with Gemini's ability to pull from Drive when writing, it means your whole library of work becomes useful again. Not just stuff you made last week, everything. Now Gmail, this is the one that kind of blew me away. Gemini can now use your Gmail context to help you draft things. So let's say you're following up with a potential partner for the AI Profit Boardroom. You want to write a pitch email, you tell Gemini, draft a partnership pitch email for the AI Profit Boardroom, pull context from my last 3 emails with this contact, keep it short, warm, and focused on the value of our AI automation community. It reads those past emails, it understands the relationship, it writes a follow-up that actually makes sense for where you are in the conversation. That's not just autocomplete, that is context-aware drafting. That's a real difference, okay. I said we'd come back to the seamless AI coworker thing. Let's go there now. The reason early testers use that phrase is because it doesn't feel like you're using a tool anymore. It feels like there's someone in the background who knows your stuff, knows your tone, knows what you're trying to do, and just helps. The context layer is what makes that possible. Drive plus Gmail plus the web all feed into one system that understands your world. And here's why that matters beyond just saving time. Think about everything you could get done in a day if you had that. Every doc, every email, every spreadsheet supported, not just the easy ones, the complex ones too. For anyone running a business, a community, a team, this changes the game. Let's talk about availability because this matters. Right now, Gemini's context pulling features, the Drive integration, the Gmail integration, the multi-step Sheets work are rolling out in beta for paid Workspace subscribers. So this is not free. You need a Google Workspace paid plan to get access. But here's the thing. If you're already paying for Workspace, this is already coming to you. You don't need to go buy a new tool. You don't need a new subscription. It's baked in. And for teams, this is a massive unlock because now everyone on the team has access to the same AI layer sitting on top of all your shared docs, Drive, and Gmail. That's coordination that used to require project managers and weekly meetings, now handled by AI context. Let me give you one more real-world use case before I wrap this up, because I want you to leave here with something you can actually go do. Let's say you want to create a full landing page brief for the AI Profit Boardroom. You want it to convert, you want it to explain the value of AI automation, you want it to speak to the right audience. Here's how you'd use Gemini across Workspace to do this end-to-end. Step 1, Sheets. Ask Gemini to build a research table, pull together what we know about our ideal customer for the AI Profit Boardroom, pain points, goals, objections, and what they've said in past feedback. It builds the table from context you've shared. Step 2, Docs. Ask Gemini to write the landing page brief. Using the customer research table from my Drive, write a full landing page brief for the AI Profit Boardroom. Focus on the value of AI automation, time savings, community support, and real business results. Make it compelling. It pulls the table, it writes the brief, it matches the style of your other docs. Step 3, Slides. Use Gemini to turn the brief into a presentation. Create a 10-slide deck from this landing page brief, 1 slide per section, keep it clean and visual. You just went from 0 to a full brief, research table, and pitch deck in under an hour using tools you already have. That's the power of this. Here's the big picture. Gemini in Workspace is not just another AI feature. It's a context layer that sits across everything you already use. And the 70.48% score in real-world Sheets tests, that's not a party trick. That's actual utility, the format matching in Docs, the smart search in Drive, the relationship-aware drafting in Gmail, the multi-step building in Sheets. These are not features that are nice to have. These are features that change how you work. The teams that figure this out first are going to move faster, build more. Google Gemini new free updates are insane. You are sleeping on one of the biggest free tools right now. And I'm not talking about something minor. Google just turned Gemini into a full building platform. Apps, websites, UI designs, all from a single prompt for free. And most people have no idea this is even possible. Google has dropped a wave of updates to Gemini and the tools around it. We're talking about a completely new vibe coding experience, a brand new AI design tool called Stitch, new Gemini API updates, and they've even opened up free public AI hackathons that anyone can run. We're going to cover all of it today. Everything I'm sharing is verified and sourced directly from Google. No hype, no made up features, just what's actually live right now. Let's start with the biggest one. Google just launched a completely rebuilt vibe coding experience inside Google AI Studio. This is powered by something called the Google Anti-Gravity Coding Agent, and instead of just spitting out a basic web page, this thing builds real production-ready apps. You can now build multiplayer experiences, real-time collaborative workspaces, multiplayer games, shared tools. The agent sets up all the sync logic for you automatically. Google demoed a full multiplayer laser tag game built entirely from a prompt, not a prototype. It runs live. You can add databases and use authentication. The agent detects when your app needs a database or a login system. Once you approve it, it connects Firebase automatically, specifically Cloud Firestore for the database and Firebase authentication for secure sign-in. Your app can store data and remember users without you touching a line of backend code. And stay with me because this next part is where it gets really practical. You can connect to real-world services. If your app needs to pull in Google Maps data, connect to a payment processor, or talk to any external API, you can do that. You bring your own API credentials, and the agent stores them securely using the new Secrets Manager in the Settings tab. The agent supports modern web frameworks, React, Angular, and now Next.js. You pick your framework in the settings panel, and it builds accordingly. One more thing worth knowing, you can pick up where you left off. Close the tab and come back later. The app saves your state. You're not starting from scratch every time. And here's the stat that tells you how serious Google is about this. This experience has already been used internally to build hundreds of thousands of apps over the last few months. One-click button to deploy straight from AI Studio to Google Anti-Gravity, prompt, build, deploy, all in one place. Now, when I first started digging into all of these tools, I'll be honest, it was a lot to keep up with. New features dropping every week. Hard to know what actually matters versus what's just noise. This one is for the designers and the people who have great ideas, but no idea how to make them look like a real product. Google Labs released the updated Stitch on March 18th. The concept is vibe design. You describe what you want, and the AI builds the visual design. But what makes Stitch stand out is how much context it can work with. Instead of starting with a blank artboard, you bring anything to the canvas, images, text, a bit of code, a reference screenshot, and Stitch uses all of it to generate high-fidelity UI designs, not rough wireframes, proper polished mockups. There's a brand new design agent built in that understands your full project history. So when you want to explore a different direction, it knows what you've already built and helps you branch into new ideas without losing your previous work. They call this the Agent Manager, and it lets you run multiple design directions in parallel. One of the features I think is underrated here is design.md. It's a file that stores your entire design system, colors, fonts, spacing, component rules, in a format that both AI tools and developers can read and use. You can extract a design system from any URL or import one from another tool. That means your branding carries across projects automatically. Here's the one that really caught my attention. Stitch now has voice capabilities. You can literally talk to your canvas, say things like show me this in 3 different color palettes, or design a new landing page, and the agent asks you questions back and builds it out as you speak. Real-time design conversation right in the tool. And when you're done, you export directly to Google AI Studio or Anti-Gravity, design in Stitch, build in AI Studio, deploy to Anti-Gravity. That whole pipeline is coming together. Now for the developers and people who integrate AI into their workflows, the Gemini API got updated too. Gemini-powered apps pull in real-world location data from Google Maps to ground responses in actual geographic context. That's what pushes AI apps from feeling like demos into actually being useful in real workflows. Now let's talk about the Kaggle community hackathons, because this one is open to everyone, and a lot of people are going to want to know about it. Kaggle is Google's data science and AI competition platform. They just launched something called community hackathons, and the big shift is that anyone can now host one. Not just big companies, individuals, schools, small teams, businesses, all of it completely free. You get the full infrastructure, data hosting, interactive notebooks, discussion forums, project galleries, support for multiple competition tracks, and prize pools of up to $10,000. This isn't a small thing. The NFL has used Kaggle hackathons to create new statistics and even inform player safety rule changes. OpenAI used one to red team their first open access model, and Google's own Gemini hackathons combined for nearly $1 million in prizes. That same infrastructure is now available to anyone. If you want to run a skills challenge for your team, build a portfolio project with a competitive angle, or just practice solving real problems with AI. This is one of the best free opportunities out there right now. You can create a hackathon in minutes directly on Kaggle, and if you want to compete rather than host, keep an eye on the Kaggle competitions page for new community hackathon. Real quick before we go any further, if you want to use AI tools like Gemini to actually automate your business and stop doing everything manually, you need to check out the AI Profit Boardroom. It's where we go deep on tools like this one, build out real automations, and help you use AI to grow faster without burning out. The link is in the description. Go check it out and I'll see you inside. And the people who are learning this now are building skills that are going to compound fast. Here's how to actually get started right now. Go to astudio.google.com and try build mode. Describe what you want to create and see what the anti-gravity agent does with it. No coding knowledge needed. Then go check out Stitch at stitch.withgoogle.com. Try describing a UI from scratch or drop in a reference image and see how it interprets your style. And if you want to get involved with the AI Builder community, head to Kaggle and check out what community hackathons are currently open. And here's what I think is worth saying out loud. A year ago, building a full stack app with a database, authentication, and real-time features required a team. A developer, maybe a designer, someone who knows back-end infrastructure. Now, one person with a clear idea and a prompt can get surprisingly close to that in an afternoon. That doesn't mean developers aren't valuable. It means the bar for turning an idea into something real and testable has dropped significantly. And if you understand these tools, you become the person in any room who can actually move fast. Google Gemini new free updates are insane. Google just dropped something wild, and I mean wild. Today, I'm going to show you the new free Google Gemini updates that literally let you build apps, design websites, and run your own AI hackathons, all with one prompt. No joke. This might be the biggest thing Google has ever done with AI. And the crazy part, it's all free. So Google just turned Gemini into a full platform. Before this update, you needed like 5 different tools to build anything. You needed one tool for coding, another for design, another for APIs, another for teamwork. It was a mess. Now, Google said, forget all that. They put everything into one place, one ecosystem, one brain, and it actually works. Let me break down what changed, because this is not a small update. This is a whole new way to build stuff online. First up, vibe coding. This is the big one. Inside Google AI Studio, you can now prompt Gemini and it builds you a full app. I'm not talking about a little code snippet. I'm talking a real app with login pages, user profiles, storage that works where you type in what you want. Gemini builds it. And here's where it gets even crazier. It has multiplayer like Google Docs, but for coding. So you and your team can build together. At the same time, in real time, think about that for a second. You don't even need to be a developer anymore. You just need an idea and a keyboard. And it connects to real APIs and services. So your app isn't just a toy. It actually does stuff in the real world. It can talk to other platforms. It can pull real data. This is Google going after Replit, Cursor, and GitHub Copilot all at once, and they made it free. I tested this myself. I prompted it to build a task management app where multiple people can edit tasks in real time, and it just did it. Like, it worked. I sat there staring at my screen like, wait, that's it. That's all I had to do. One prompt, done. Now, here's the second thing that blew my mind. It's called Stitch. This is Google's new AI design tool. You give it a prompt like, design me a landing page for an AI startup. And it doesn't just give you a pretty picture, it gives you the actual working code, production ready. You can export it and use it right away. No Figma, no back and forth with a designer, no waiting 2 weeks for someone to turn a mock-up into real code. You just prompt it and boom, you've got a real website. This is huge for anyone who builds stuff online. If you run an agency, if you're a freelancer, if you're building a side project, this changes everything. The Gemini API got a massive upgrade too. Before, if you wanted your AI to do multiple things, you had to make a bunch of separate calls. It was slow, it was clunky. Now you can do it all in one request, one call, and they built Google Search and Google Maps right into it. So you can build something like an AI travel planner that searches the web, finds places on the map, and gives you routes and suggestions. All in one go. One prompt, one response, everything you need. This is what makes AI agents actually useful. Before, building an AI agent felt like duct taping a bunch of stuff together. Now it feels clean, simple, like it was designed to work this way, which it was. This one is for the community builders out there. Google just made it so anyone can host a public AI hackathon on Kaggle for free. You don't need sponsors, you just set it up and people can join and compete. This is massive for creators, for educators, for anyone who wants to bring people together around AI. You could literally run your own AI competition this weekend if you wanted to, and it wouldn't take you long to set up. I think this is Google's way of getting more people into the Gemini ecosystem. And honestly, it's smart because once people start building with these tools, they're not going back. Now let's talk about the personal AI stuff, because this isn't just for developers. Google is pushing Gemini into everything you already use. The Gemini app, Google Chrome, Google Search, they're calling it AI mode in search. And it basically means Gemini is becoming your daily assistant. Everywhere, imagine this, you wake up, you ask Gemini to plan your day, it looks at your calendar, your tasks, your goals, and it lays everything out for you, meetings, meals, reminders, all of it. Then you open Chrome and Gemini is there helping you research stuff. Then you search something on Google and Gemini gives you an AI-powered answer right in the results. It's everywhere and it's free. This is not just an update. This is Google saying AI is not a feature anymore. AI is the product and they're giving it away to everyone. Now, let me tie this all together because I think people are missing the big picture here. Before this update, if you wanted to build an app, you needed a developer. If you wanted to design a website, you needed a designer. If you wanted to connect APIs, you needed a back-end engineer. If you wanted to run a hackathon, you needed a whole team. Now you need Google Gemini. And a good idea, that's it. This is a platform shift. The same way the iPhone changed how we use phones, the same way Google search changed how we find information, Gemini is changing how we build things. And the fact that it's free right now means there's no excuse not to try it. If you're a creator, you can build tools for your audience. If you run a business, you can automate tasks that used to take weeks. If you're just curious about AI, you can play around and learn without any barriers. The door is wide open. And here's what I think a lot of people don't realize. The people who start using these tools now are going to be so far ahead in 6 months because this stuff compounds. The more you use it, the better you get at prompting. The faster you build, the more ideas you can test. And while everyone else is still thinking about it, you'll already have stuff out in the world. So here's what I want you to do. Go try it. Open Google AI Studio, type in a prompt, build something. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be a start. Google just dropped the most powerful free app building stack on the planet. This week, Google shipped 5 updates in 7 days, 5 in 1 week, whilst most people are still figuring out how to use ChatGPT. Here's what just happens and why it changes everything for your business right now. You're about to see how to build a full working app complete with a login screen, database, and live users using nothing but plain English. No code, no designers, no developers. And this isn't a tutorial about a tool that might be useful someday. This is Google's biggest AI drop of 2026. It just went live. There's also a bunch of other updates, which I'll talk you through, and stay until the end because I'm going to show you each one of these and how they work exactly. So if you're wondering what just happened this week, basically Google dropped 5 major updates in a single week. Here's what just happened. Number 1, Google AI Studio, right? So they dropped a full stack vibe coding app. You can turn text into real deployable apps with databases, login systems, and real users. We've also got Google Stitch with vibe design, right? So you can turn natural language and voice commands into beautiful UI designs and front-end code. On top of that, Google Anti-Gravity Coding Agent, right? So there's an AI that understands your entire project, writes, updates, and fixes code across multiple files. There's upgraded Gemini API tooling as well. Also inside this update, you can now use Google Maps. So there's Google Maps support in all Gemini 3 models. And additionally, one of the biggest updates is personal intelligence that is rolling out from Google across the US right now. What this means essentially is that you can connect your personal context to get personalized assistance from Gemini directly, right? Also means that Gemini remembers what's important to you, and you can actually ask Gemini for help in bringing past conversations, right? So how this works essentially is like you choose what you share, right? You can choose whether or not to use Google's personalization features. You can choose whether to share your personal preferences or enable your chat history. But this basically gives context for example, like your emails or your Google Drive directly inside Gemini, so you get more personalized responses. On top of that, you can manage your data, so you can view and manage your chat history. You can turn off personalized help as well if you don't want it inside your settings. It gives you a summary as well of how Gemini personalizes responses and can show you personal context, right? So for example, like let's say in your Gmail, you just booked a hotel for somewhere, and then you were like, I need travel ideas, and it would actually look at your hotel confirmation, look at where the hotel is, and then give you personalized ideas of where to go in that area based on the booking from your email. So it's pretty crazy how it works step by step. Now let's look at one of the other big updates, which is AI Studio and Stitch, right? So with Stitch, this is a free way to design the front end of apps. So here's an example. We actually said inside here, create a new UI for a jobs board app. And also a habit tracker, and you can see it right here. So it's actually created, for example, the branding, the homepage with the dashboard, the designs for each section of the website. And then here's the other cool thing that you can do. You can either edit it right here, you can speak to the AI and it will see your screen and talk to you back in real time using this new live mode at the bottom. You can switch between APIs here. You can actually change the colors and the design system for your UI. And this designs the front end, right? Just like what it actually looks like. If you want to add the back end functionality, so logins, database, leaderboards, people sharing information between each other on the app, here's how to do that, right? So what you can do here is you can click on export, right? So you just select all the files that you want to export into AI Studio, and then you're going to click on AI Studio over here, and you could either download this with a zip file if you wanted to plug it into Anti-Gravity locally, or you could go to AI Studio, or you could actually create the app inside Stitch directly. So you can actually create a React app directly and create an instant prototype. But what we're going to do is use the new AI Studio app, because what this now does is it has something called Google Anti-Gravity and also Firebase plugged in here, right? So if we take the designs directly from Stitch, which you can see over here, I'm going to say add a login for users too, and then we hit build. Basically, this takes the front end designs from Google Stitch, plugs them into AI Studio, uses anti-gravity for coding and testing the app to make sure it works before it gives you an actual design. And then also on top of that, it's going to create backend, a database, a login for people to use with something called Firebase. Now, Firebase is owned by Google, and what it essentially does is it allows people to just sign in with their Google account into the app, right? So that way you can quickly share it. People can log in, they can save their data, and they can come back to it whenever they want to. If you want to see some examples of apps that I previously built on this, here's some examples. So for example, like Habit Hero. Habit Hero is a habit app that we actually built over here, right? And people can log in, they can save the data, they can save their habit streaks, they can add new habits here that they want to use, and they can also check out a leaderboard over here, right? So there's so much to this, so much more you can do with this than ever before. You got personal intelligence, you got AI Studio with anti-gravity and Firebase, you have Stitch with the new UI developments and the live sharing and everything else. And you can also switch between APIs here. So if you wanted to use like the best API, you could click on Thinking with Pro. If you wanted to redesign the whole thing, you can actually use Nano Banana. So Nano Banana is probably the best image generator in the world. It comes from Google, and you can redesign your whole app. Now, bear in mind, this is all free. This is all free to use for you to use directly. And you can get access to it as Stitch with Google, or if you want to start building the backend for it, then you just go to AI Studio. So for example, if we look at the designs that we just plugged in here, then from here, we just click on enable, right? And that allows us to create the backend for it because we're accepting Firebase terms, right? Now, also inside the app, if you wanted to actually publish it, you just go to this section here and you can publish this directly, right? So if we click on publish app, this will allow people and allow myself to share the app so that we can actually make it live on the world, right? So you can see now it's building the app, and then it'll actually store it on a Google Cloud project for us to share with the world directly, right? And it's really easy to do this stuff. It doesn't take a lot of thought. You just tell it what you want. You don't need to be able to code, but it's finally at the point now with AI where you can design full apps, you can design full landing pages, you can design like SaaS tools even with this sort of power. And most of it is free. Now, I actually created a framework that connects all of this together. The way that I would look at it is in 4 stages. So first of all, your ideation. You describe what you want in plain English. That's it. So for example, build me a lead generation tool for my consulting business. And then that starts building inside Stitch. Stitch will design it. So Stitch turns your idea into a beautiful visual interface. It generates about 5 screens at once, which you can see right here. And all you do is you literally type in plain English what you want. If you want to edit it, then you type in your edits in plain English here, and it will go off and just redesign it, remake it for you. From that point, you're going to build it. So you build with AI Studio plus the anti-gravity coding agent inside AI Studio. And that will take the design and build the actual working app. The database is handled by Firebase. It will add a login system built in with real-time features as well. So if we go back to AI Studio now, you can see that it's beginning to build out that app that we just plugged in from Google Stitch right here. And then you just deploy it, right? So one-click deploy, as you can see right here. So our app is now published, which you can see. This is from AI Studio. So if we go inside this section, people can now log in and start using this app directly, right? And this was just a one-click deployment where you just click publish over there and you deploy it to Google Cloud. That's how easy it is. So in just 4 steps, you can go from idea to building the app. And Gemini have also released the Studio updates as well, plus the personal intelligence. So they've done a lot this week. Pretty amazing what they've done, really, honestly. And they've also improved the Gemini API tooling, right? So it can use, for example, like Google Search inside the Gemini API call, as well as Google Maps, which can support all of the Gemini models. So it's done a lot. They've done a lot this week. That's basically how it works. And also the personal intelligence update as well, that's free for users in the US. So either way, you can just get access to this if you're based in the US straight away. And if you're not in the US, you can still use AI Studio and Google Stitch updates as well. Now, if you want to get a 30-day plan and a roadmap for using all of this stuff, along with use cases, a full guide explaining exactly what it is and how it works, you can get that inside the AI Profitable Audience, along with a list of 100 prompts that you can just copy and paste into the tool directly to build whatever. Google Gemini new free updates are insane. Google just dropped 5 massive updates to Gemini, and they are completely free. We are talking AI inside Google Maps, AI inside Chrome, AI inside Docs, Sheets, Slides, and a brand new AI model that nobody is talking about. This is the biggest Gemini update yet. And by the end of this video, you are going to know exactly how to use every single one of them. So let me break it all down. So the first update is wild. Google put Gemini inside Google Maps. And I do not mean a little chatbot in the corner. I mean, you can now talk to Maps like it is your personal travel guide. Here's what that looks like. You open Google Maps, you type something like plan a 2-day food tour in Tokyo, and Gemini does not just give you a list of restaurants, it actually reads through reviews, looks at photos, checks local guides, and builds you a full plan. Stops, times, routes, everything. Or say you're in a new city. You type find a quiet cafe to work near a park. Gemini pulls up options based on what people actually said in their reviews, not just star ratings, actual context. And here's where it gets even crazier. So they added something called immersive navigation. So now when you are driving or walking somewhere, Gemini can highlight landmarks, show you directions that feel almost like augmented reality, and even say things like take the second right after the red building. That is next level. That is not just a map anymore. That is an AI co-pilot sitting in your passenger seat. Think about what this means for travel. You do not need to spend 3 hours on Reddit trying to plan a trip. You just ask Maps. Done. This one feature alone is going to save people so much time. And again, it is free. Now, the second update is where things get really interesting for anyone who uses Google Workspace. And if you use Docs, Sheets, Slides, or Drive, pay attention because this changes everything. Gemini is now baked into all of them. Let me start with Google Docs. You can now tell Gemini to write entire documents for you, like you open a blank doc, type, write a blog post about AI automation, and it just does it, full thing. You can also highlight a paragraph and say, rewrite this to sound more professional, or summarize this whole report into 3 bullet points. It does it instantly. Google Sheets is even more impressive. You can now ask Gemini to analyze your spreadsheets. So say you have a big data set of sales numbers. You type, find trends in this data and build me a chart. Gemini reads the data, spots the patterns, and creates the chart for you. No formulas, no pivot tables, just plain English. Google Slides now lets you generate entire presentations. You type, create a 10-slide presentation about climate change, and it builds the whole thing. Slides, design, layout, content, all of it. You can go from 0 to a full presentation in seconds. And Google Drive got a huge upgrade too. You can now search your files using normal language or summarize everything in this folder. Gemini reads through your files and gives you answers. No more digging through 50 folders, trying to find that one document. This is not some future feature. This is live right now. And update number 3 is the one that developers are losing their minds over. And honestly, even if you are not a developer, you need to understand this because it is going to change how every AI app works. Google just released something called Gemini Embedding 2. And I know that sounds technical, but let me make it simple. Before this update, if you wanted to build an AI app that could understand text, images, and video, you needed 3 separate AI models, one for text, one for images, one for video, and you had to somehow connect them all together. It was a mess. Now with Gemini Embedding 2, one single model handles everything. Text, images, video, audio, documents, all of it. One model, one system. Done. And the capabilities are serious. It can process up to 8,000 tokens of text. It can handle 6 images at once. It can process 2 minutes of video. It even supports audio natively. And it can read through 6 pages of a PDF. But here's the part that blows my mind. You can mix inputs, so you can give it an image and some text at the same time, or a video with a transcript, and it understands the relationship between them. That is something that was almost impossible before. Why does this matter to you? Because every AI tool you use is about to get way smarter. Search engines, recommendation systems, AI assistants, all of them can now understand multiple types of content at the same time. This is a massive leap forward. And if you are building anything with AI, this simplifies your entire setup. No more stitching together 5 different models. One model does it all. And Google just added usage caps to the Gemini API inside Google AI Studio. So if you are a developer using the Gemini API, you can now set a maximum limit on how much your project uses. You pick a cap, and once you hit it, the API stops automatically. No surprises, no waking up to something you did not expect. This is huge for startups, huge for solo developers, huge for anyone who wants to experiment with AI without worrying about things getting out of control. You set your limit, you build your thing, and you stay in control. Simple, it sounds like a small feature, but trust me, developers have been begging for this. And now it is here, update number 5. Gemini is now built directly into Google Chrome. So now when you are browsing the internet, you have an AI assistant right there in your browser. You do not need to open a separate tab. You do not need to copy and paste text into some other tool. Gemini is just there. What can it do? A lot. You can ask it to summarize a web page. So say you land on a long research paper. Instead of reading the whole thing, you just ask Gemini, summarize this, and you get the key points in seconds. You can ask it to explain articles in simpler terms. You can ask it questions about whatever website you're on. You can even use it to help you write emails right from your browser. Right now, it is rolling out in India, New Zealand, and Canada first. More regions are coming soon, but this is the direction Google is going. Gemini everywhere, not just in one app, everywhere. Now, let me take a step back and tell you why all of this matters. Google is not just updating a chatbot. They are turning Gemini into a full AI layer that sits on top of everything. Your browser, your documents, your maps, your spreadsheets, your presentations, your file storage, your developer tools, everything. This is not 5 separate features. This is one strategy. Gemini is becoming the operating system for AI, and the fact that most of these features are free is wild. Think about where we were 12 months ago. You had to go to a separate website to use AI. Now it is inside the tools you already use every single day. That is the shift. AI is not a tool you go to anymore. It is a tool that comes to you, and this is just the beginning. Google is clearly going all in on this. So if you are not paying attention to these updates, you are falling behind, and I do not want that for you. Google Gemini's new free updates are insane, and today I'm going to walk you through every single one of them. It's been a really busy week for Gemini, and they've just dropped the biggest AI updates to Maps, Docs, Sheets, and Chrome all at the same time. And if you use Google every day, your phone, your browser, your documents, everything just changed. We're talking about 6 massive updates that rolled out this week. Google Maps can now hold a full conversation with you. So you can see an example of how it works right here. And basically the way you use Google Maps is very different now. So there's something called Ask Maps, which is a new way for you to ask anything about anywhere with help from the latest Gemini models. So let's get straight into this. You can see an example of how it works right here. And they've talked about how they are reimagining Maps with Gemini. So essentially, you can now ask Maps, for example, okay, where can I find this? How can I get help from that? Blah, blah, blah. And you can ask anything about any place. And this basically helps you get help in real time from Google Maps. So here's an example of Ask Maps in action. So it's using an AI inside Google Maps, and then you can get help and support in real time, right? So for example, if you're planning a trip and you ask, I'm headed to the Grand Canyon, Horseshoe Bend, and Coral Dunes, any recommended stops along the way, you'll get clear directions, ETAs, and insider tips from real people, right? So basically planning out your route with Google Maps is easier than ever before. And this is a huge update that rolled out to millions of people. Here's another example right here, right? So this is an interesting one. If you're driving around or you're about to go driving or something like that, well, the map comes to life with a vivid 3D view that reflects the buildings, overpasses, and terrain around you, right? So here's an example of it in action. It's very immersive in terms of navigation, and it's one of the biggest transformations of the navigation experience inside Google Maps. So some huge updates to Google Maps, as you can see right here. And this immersive navigation has already started rolling out across the US, and the availability is expected to expand over the coming months to iOS and Android devices, and all sorts of cool stuff, right? So here's another example of what it looks like, and it's like a 3D game almost, but it's real life and it's Google Maps generated with AI. Super powerful update, and that is just one of them, okay? So let's talk about this. Now, first of all, you might be asking, what even is Google AI? So Google is one of the biggest technology companies in the world. You probably use it every day to search for things on the internet. But now Google is building something much more powerful, which is artificial intelligence, right? And AI is like teaching a computer to think, read, and understand things, just like a human does. Now, Google's AI is Gemini. And Gemini is like a super smart helper that lives inside your phone, computer, and apps. This week, Google made Gemini even more powerful and released it in 6 big ways. So we've talked about Google Maps, but essentially the app that you use to get directions can now think and answer more complex questions. So the 2 biggest features are Ask Maps, where you can type or speak complex questions. It uses AI to understand what you actually want, and you can interact with it, and it reads millions of reviews and location data instantly. It's perfect for trip planning, restaurant hunting, and travel questions. And the next update is the navigation update. So this is immersive navigation, and instead of just arrows on a flat map, you now see a 3D view of your route. It shows you exactly what buildings, streets, and landmarks look like, and it's way easier to follow than old school turn-by-turn directions. Next up, we have the Google Docs, Sheets, Slides, and Drive updates. Now, this was a big one too. Basically, what happened here is that inside Google Docs, for example, if we open up a new document, you can see that we have this section at the bottom that says write a document. Now, if we, for example, say, okay, write a document about the AI Profit Boardroom, my AI automation community, we can paste that in like so, and that'll begin to start collecting information from Google Drive and my Gmail, because it's all linked inside my Google account, to generate the outputs, right? Now, this is not just on Google Docs, it's on Sheets, Slides, and Google Drive, right? So Google Workspace, the set of apps millions of businesses use for documents, spreadsheets, and presentations, now has Gemini directly inside it. And you can see that it's actually come up and automated a full breakdown right here. Right? And so what does this mean? Well, imagine you're writing a business proposal in Google Docs. Instead of staring at a blank page, you type what you need and Gemini writes the first draft for you. So in Google Sheets, Gemini can now look at your numbers and explain what they mean in plain English. In Google Slides, it can create entire presentations from scratch with just one sentence. In Google Drive, it can search through all your files and show you exactly what you need. So the big changes here are like Google Docs writes first drafts for you. In Google Sheets, it explains complex formulas and automates spreadsheet layouts. In Google Slides, it can build out the actual creative. And then in Google Drive, you've got smart search across all your files. So that's the update number 2. And then update number four is the Gemini embedding 2. This is an AI that understands everything at once, right? Now, this is quite an interesting one. If you've never seen this before, let me talk you through it here. So essentially, Gemini embedding 2 is the first natively multimodal embedding model, right? So for example, if you're using this inside OpenClaw, well, think of it like a translator, right? So when you show a computer a photo, it doesn't see it like you do, right? An embedding model turns that photo into numbers the computer can understand. Before, you needed different AI models for photos, for text, for audio and video and everything else. But main thing is here that with Gemini embedding, this is a way of just doing this all in one go, right? It's a natively multimodal model. So what's new here? Well, Gemini embedding 2 understands all of these in one single model. So text, images, videos, audio, documents, right? Now, why does this matter? Well, imagine you're searching your company's files and the AI can search through your videos, your documents, your photos, and audio recordings all at once. You wouldn't lose as much information. You wouldn't waste hours searching for that information you were trying to find from like 6 months ago, right? This is really a big improvement for content creators, agencies, large teams. I know that OpenClaw even embedded it recently inside one of their recent updates, which means that OpenClaw can now search through your chat conversation and look for example, previous images you've generated and that sort of thing, or audio messages and that. So it impacts everything, even though it sounds a little bit boring, right? Embedding model doesn't sound that fun, but it actually is a big improvement. So next up, let's talk about this. So there are some spend caps for the Gemini API, right? So you can just set a maximum amount that you want to spend, which is not a big deal, to be honest, but that's a quick one. And then finally, Gemini is now inside Google Chrome, right? So what happened here is Gemini is now built directly inside the Google Chrome browser on desktop computers. Now it's rolling out to signed in people across India, New Zealand, and Canada. More countries, and mobile support is coming as well. But the main point here is, if we have a look here, for example, you can see that this is beginning to roll out on desktop across many different regions, right? So whilst you're browsing the internet, that means that, for example, Gemini can summarize any web page in seconds. It could answer questions about what you're reading, help you write emails, replies or comments, explain complicated articles in simple language, and research topics without leaving your tab. So the browser used to be a window to the web. Now it's a window to intelligence, as the Google Chrome team said. So for business owners, this means your team can now research faster, write faster and make decisions faster without leaving their browser. No extra tools needed. Now, if you want to implement all of this stuff, we actually have a 30-day business implementation roadmap inside the notes from today. I also have 100 prompts and use cases, for example, for Google Sheets, Google Docs, etc. So if you're wondering, okay, like how can I actually implement this? How can I save myself time? Well, that's basically how you can do it using these prompts in the 30-day roadmap inside the video notes from today in the AI Profit Boardroom. But just to recap here, for everyone watching, all right, the big updates are that Google Maps can now understand complex questions and show 3D routes, right, which is powered by Gemini. Google Workspace, so Google Docs, Sheets, Slides, and Drive, now has AI directly inside it. And Gemini Embedding 2 now understands text, images, video, and documents all in one model. And Gemini is now inside Chrome, so your browser is now an AI assistant, and it's rolling out across many different countries now. So we are not just in the age of artificial intelligence, we are in the age of artificial advantage, and the businesses who act now will be the ones who win. Google just made AI faster, smarter, cheaper, and more accessible than ever before. Every single one of these updates saves you time or resources. The business that implements this in the next 30 days will be months ahead of their competition, and the ones who wait will be playing catch up. So the question isn't whether to use AI, the question is how fast can you start? Google Gemini new free updates are insane. Google Gemini just dropped a pile of free updates, and some of these should not be free. We're talking AI that turns your notes into full cinematic videos, a music tool that writes and sings entire songs from one sentence, a feature that browses the internet and does tasks for you, and an image tool so good. I'm going to break down every single one right now. This is huge, this is easy, and I promise you, at least 3 of these are going to change how you work. So here's what happened. Google went on an absolute rampage this month. They updated Gemini, Notebook LM Chrome, Google Docs, and about 10 other things all at once. Most people missed half of it because there was just too much. I pulled out the 15 updates that actually matter, and I'm going to walk you through all of them right now. No fluff, just the good stuff. Let's get into it. Okay, so Notebook LM got the biggest glow up. They added something called cinematic video overviews. Here's how it works. You upload your sources, your notes, your documents, whatever you've got, and it builds a full video, not a slideshow, not a boring summary, a real cinematic narrated video with animations and visuals. We're talking 5 minutes long. It uses an AI agent that reads everything you uploaded, figures out the best way to structure the video, picks the visual style, and then hands different scenes to different AI models based on what each scene needs. Now, here's the part that blew my mind. For scenes that need precision, like maps or math or data, it uses Gemini 3 Pro to write actual code that generates the animations. So instead of a video model guessing what a historical map looks like and getting the borders all messed up, this thing codes the map from scratch. Every border is right. Every detail is locked in. It can show you a sorting algorithm running step by step, completely accurate because it's driven by code, not by a video model hallucinating shapes. That's a totally different level. On top of that, it mixes in other models for different parts of the video. One handles consistent image style, another handles standard video clips, and then there's a self-review loop where it watches its own video back, finds mistakes, and fixes them automatically. They're also planning to add dynamic music, sound effects, and multiple voice actors. This feature is currently on the Ultra plan, but they confirmed it's rolling out wider soon. So stay tuned for that. But wait, there's more Notebook LM stuff. And this next part is free for everyone. They added style presets for infographics. You used to have to describe the style yourself, which was hit or miss. Now you just pick from a list: professional, scientific, bento grid, sketch note, editorial, clay, kawaii, bricks, even anime. Each one gives your infographic a totally different look, and they all come out clean. This is great for anyone making content, building presentations, or just trying to learn something visually. Next, you can finally edit slide decks inside Notebook LM. This was a big pain point before. It would generate these beautiful slide decks, but if one title was wrong or there were spelling errors, you were stuck. Now you click revise, type out exactly what you want fixed, batch all your changes together, and hit generate. It rebuilds the deck with your fixes. Simple, fast, and honestly, a game changer for anyone using Notebook LM for work or school. They also added the ability to generate content straight from the chat panel. So instead of it pulling from all your sources and guessing what you want an infographic about, you can have a focused conversation first, then say, make me an infographic about what we just discussed. It comes out way more targeted, way more relevant, and way more useful. Google launched a full music creation platform. It's called Producer AI. They acquired a company and rebuilt it with their new music model, Lyria 3. You type in a description, a genre, a mood, even your own lyrics if you want, and it generates a full song, vocals, instruments, everything. And then here's the kicker: you can edit the song after it's made. You tell it to make it darker, add more guitar, change the energy, and it adjusts while keeping the core of the song intact. That's wild. You can also generate music right inside Gemini chat, though that's limited to 30-second clips. The full platform is where you go for complete songs. This is Google's image generation model, and this update is massive, especially if you're on the free plan. Before this, free users got 2 or 3 image generations per day with the good model. Then it kicked you down to the old model, which is way worse. Now, free users get up to 20 image generations per day with Nano Banana 2, and it's fast. We're talking 10 to 15 seconds per image. The quality is great too. It handles consistent characters really well. It nails complex text inside images like charts and infographics. And in my testing, it actually beat the Pro model in several areas, especially when it came to detailed prompts and text accuracy. If you turn on thinking mode for complex stuff, you get even better results. So this is a huge win for anyone on the free plan. Then there's Pomeli. This one went surprisingly viral. You take a single photo of a product, any product, and it builds you an entire marketing campaign, product shots, ad creatives, campaign slogans, all from one image. It even has an edit feature so you can tweak the shots, and you can feed it your website so it pulls your brand fonts, colors, tone of voice, everything. Then it creates campaigns that actually match your brand. You can even animate the final ads. For anyone doing marketing or running a business, this is an absolute no-brainer. Inside Chrome, they added Nano Banana to the Gemini sidebar, so you can generate images based on whatever website you're looking at without screenshotting or downloading anything. But the bigger update is something called Auto Browse. You can tell Gemini in Chrome to go browse the internet and find things for you, find products, compare options. It goes to websites, clicks filters, types in keywords, and brings back results. It can even fill out forms. It's like having a little assistant living inside your browser. Quick one for Google Docs users. You can now get an audio summary of any document. Just go to Tools, then Audio, then listen to Document Summary. And almost instantly you get a spoken overview of whatever you're working on. Great for reviewing long documents when you don't have time to read the whole thing. Google also updated their Flow platform. This is their creative studio for images and video. The big new thing is you can draw directly onto images to request changes, and you can use what they call ingredients, where you drop in characters or objects and ask the AI to put them into your scene, so you can build full scenes from scratch, create images, turn them into videos, layer elements together. It's getting closer and closer to a real creative studio. For the business folks, Google Workspace Studio now lets you automate tasks across Gmail, Sheets, Drive, and other apps using Gemini. You set up automations to read emails, schedule meetings, organize files, edit spreadsheets, and draft documents, all based on your specific needs. This is the kind of stuff that used to take a virtual assistant. Now an AI does it. And then on the reasoning side, they dropped 2 new thinking models. Gemini 3 Deep Think is their most advanced reasoning model. It's competitive with the top models from other companies. This one's for the really hard problems: complex analysis, deep research, multi-step logic. Then there's Gemini 3.1 Pro, which is slightly less advanced, but much faster. This is the one most people will want for things like building websites, creating dashboards, or any task that needs strong reasoning without the extra wait time. You can use it right inside Google AI Studio, which is honestly one of the easiest places to start if you've never tried building something with AI before. So that's 15 updates from Google in 1 month. Free image generation that's actually good, a music platform, cinematic video creation, browser agents, marketing campaigns from a photo, reasoning models that compete with the best. Google is not playing around. Google just dropped 7 free updates to Gemini, and honestly, some of these are absolutely wild. We're talking AI that makes music from scratch, generates images faster than anything I have ever seen, creates videos, and even helps Olympic athletes train. If you use any AI tool at all, you need to know about this, because Google just changed the game and nobody is talking about it yet. Buckle up, because this is big. So let me break down every single update for you right now, and stick around, because update number 5 is the one that blew my mind the most. Okay, so the first update is called Nano Banana 2. Yes, that is the real name. I did not make that up. This is Google's brand new image generation model, and it is insanely fast. Like, we are talking almost instant image creation. Before this, if you wanted really good AI images, you had to wait. You had to use separate tools. You had to mess around with settings. Not anymore. Nano Banana 2 gives you pro level quality at crazy speed. And here is the cool part. You can edit the images by just talking to it. You say, hey, change the background to a beach, and it does it. You say, add some neon lights, and boom, done. It also pulls from real world knowledge and web data, so the images actually look accurate. This is not some blurry mess. This is legit. You can make marketing images, posters, infographics, combine photos together. If you make any kind of content, this is a game changer for you. Now, update number 2 is Lyria 3. This is Google's new AI music generator, and this thing is next level. You can now generate original songs, soundtracks, background music, all inside the Gemini app. Think about that for a second. You do not need to go find royalty-free music anymore. You just tell Gemini what you want and it makes it. Want an epic orchestral soundtrack for a sci-fi trailer? Done. Want a chill lo-fi beat for your podcast intro? Done. Want background music for your YouTube video? Done. This is massive for creators. And the quality is seriously impressive. So update number 3, Gemini 3.1 Pro. This is the big brain update. Google made their smartest model even smarter. The reasoning is way better. The coding is way better. The research and analysis is way better. And here is the number that matters. It scored 77.1% on the ARC-AGI-2 benchmark. That is more than double what the previous model scored. Double. That is not a small improvement. That is a massive leap. If you are a developer, a researcher, an engineer, or you just want AI that actually thinks things through properly, this is the model for you. I tested it with some complex prompts, and the answers were noticeably sharper. Gemini 3 Deep Think. This is like the thinking mode on steroids. Google optimized it specifically for science, engineering, and research. So if you have messy real-world problems that need serious brain power, this is what you use. Think scientific simulations, think engineering design problems, think deep research analysis. This is not your casual chatbot conversation. This is heavy-duty reasoning. And the fact that Google is pushing this hard into science and engineering tells you where they think AI is going. This is not just about writing emails anymore. This is about solving real problems. Update number 5, this is the one I was talking about earlier, Flow by Google. Okay, so this is Google's new visual creation tool, and it is absolutely insane. You can generate images, generate videos, remix visuals, convert photos into videos, and it works with Veo 3.1, which is their video generation model. So you can literally go from an idea in your head to a full video in minutes. Think about what that means for content creators. Think about what that means for marketing. Think about what that means for social media. You do not need a camera. You do not need editing software. You do not need a production team. You just tell Flow what you want and it creates it. This is the update that I think is going to change everything for small businesses and creators. The barrier to making amazing visual content just completely disappeared. Now, update number 6 is something a little different. Google launched a brand new AI professional certificate. This is their way of training people in AI skills. It covers generative AI, AI workflows, machine learning basics, and real business applications. And I think this is really smart because the biggest problem right now is not that AI tools exist. The problem is that most people have no idea how to use them properly. So Google is basically saying here, let us teach you. If you want to stay ahead and actually understand how all this AI stuff works, this certificate is worth looking at. And update number 7, this one is wild. Google built an AI video analysis system for Team USA Olympic athletes, specifically for ski and snowboard athletes. The AI watches video footage of their tricks and performance and breaks it down for them, where it analyzes technique, speed, form, everything. Now you might be thinking, okay, cool, but what does that have to do with me? Here is why this matters. It shows that AI is not just a chatbot anymore. It is moving into the real world. Sports, medicine, engineering, science, the stuff we are seeing with Gemini right now is just the beginning. AI is going everywhere. So let me zoom out for a second and tell you why all 7 of these updates together are such a big deal. Google is not just updating a chatbot. They are building an entire AI operating system. Think about it. You've got Gemini 3.1 Pro for thinking and reasoning, Nano Banana 2 for images, Lyria 3 for music, Flow for video, Deep Think for science and research, a certificate program for education, and real-world AI for sports performance. That is not an update. That is an ecosystem. Google is basically saying, we want AI to touch every part of your life and your work. And the crazy thing is all of this is free to use inside Gemini. You do not need special access. You do not need to be a developer. You just go to Gemini and start using it. Now, here's what I want you to do. Go try these tools right now. Open up Gemini, try Nano Banana 2, and generate some images, try Lyria 3 and make some music, test out Gemini 3.1 Pro with a hard question and see how it handles it. Play around with Flow and make a video. The only way to really understand how powerful this stuff is to use it yourself. Google just dropped 7 massive updates to Gemini in one single week. 7, and nobody is talking about it. Today, I am going to show you every single one of them. One of these updates literally turns your notes into a movie, like an actual cinematic video from your documents for free. Another one turns Google search into a full workspace where you can plan, write, and code. And there is a brand new Gemini model that is insanely fast. We are talking 2.5 times faster than before. This is the biggest week Google has ever had for AI. And if you are not paying attention right now, you are going to fall behind. Let me break it all down. So let's start with the first update. Google just released something called Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite. Now, I know that name sounds complicated. It is not. Here is what it actually means. Google built the fastest and most efficient version of Gemini ever. This thing responds 2.5 times faster than the previous version, and it generates output 45% quicker. So if you are building anything with AI, chatbots, content tools, translation apps, anything, this model lets you do it way faster. But here is the part that is really cool. You can actually choose how hard the model thinks. Like you can set it to minimal thinking for simple stuff, medium thinking for normal tasks, or high thinking when you need it to really figure something out. So you are in full control. You pick the speed, you pick the intelligence level, and it still handles text, images, video, and audio. This is not some watered down model. It is legit powerful. It just happens to also be super fast. If you are a developer or you are building AI tools for your business, this is a game changer. Now, here's where things get absolutely wild. Update number 2, Notebook LM can now create cinematic videos from your documents. I am not joking. You upload your notes, your research, your articles, whatever you have, and Notebook LM turns it into an actual animated explainer video, like a mini documentary. Before this update, Notebook LM could make basic narrated slideshows. Cool, but nothing crazy. Now it uses 3 different AI models working together. Gemini handles the storytelling and the narrative. Another model generates the images, and Veo 3 handles the actual video creation. So Gemini is literally acting like a movie director. It decides the story structure, it picks the visuals, it controls the pacing, it even chooses the narration style, and then it reviews its own work and fixes anything that looks off. Think about what this means for you. You have a research paper, upload it, you get a video, you have meeting notes, upload them, you get a video, you are a student, upload your study guide, you get a video. This is insane for content creators, educators, researchers, literally anyone who has information they want to turn into something visual. Right now, this is available to Google AI Ultra subscribers. Update number 3 is also a visual one. Notebook LM now has 10 custom styles for infographics. So not only can it make videos, it can also turn your complex information into beautiful infographics with one click. Comparison charts, timelines, flow diagrams, visual summaries, all generated automatically. And you get to pick from 10 different design styles. So if you are making a presentation, creating social media content, or just trying to understand something complicated, you can turn it into a visual in seconds. Notebook LM is not just a note-taking tool anymore. It is becoming a full research to visual content machine. You put information in, you get beautiful content out, simple as that. Now, update number 4 is one that I think is going to change how millions of people use Google every single day. Google just added something called Canvas inside AI mode in Google search. Let me explain what that means. You know how right now when you search something on Google, you get links and maybe an AI summary at the top. Well, now there is a workspace panel built right into search. It's called Canvas, and inside it, you can organize plans. You can draft content, you can build coding tools, you can edit projects, all without leaving Google search. Think about that for a second. You search for something, the AI gives you an answer, and then right there in the same window, you can start working on it. You do not need to open Google Docs. You do not need to switch to another app. It is all right there. This is like Google Docs and a coding workspace and an AI assistant all merged into one thing inside search. Right now, it's only available in the US. But when this rolls out everywhere, it is going to completely change how people work. And Google search is not just a search engine anymore. Google released something called Android Dev Bench. This one is for the developers out there. It is basically a leaderboard that lets developers test how good different AI models are at coding for Android. So you can compare models side by side, see which one writes better code, find weaknesses, and pick the best model for your app. If you are building Android apps, This is huge. It is like having a testing lab where you can put every AI model through its paces before you commit to using one. Google wants developers building better apps with AI, and this tool makes that way easier. Update number 6 is a little different. It is more on the research and safety side. Google created something called Ground Source. It is an AI-powered data set designed to help communities prepare for flash floods. The system collects environmental data and helps AI models predict flooding, analyze patterns, and improve disaster response. This is part of Google's bigger push to use AI for climate and safety. It is not as flashy as the other updates, but it matters. AI is not just about making content and building apps. It can literally save lives, and Google is investing in that. And finally, update number 7, Google upgraded their AI design tool called Stitch with Gemini 3.1 Pro. Stitch helps designers work with large design systems. Think of it like having an AI assistant that understands your entire brand, your colors, your fonts, your layouts, everything. And now with Gemini 3.1 Pro powering it, the reasoning is better, the design consistency is better, the attention to detail is better. If you are a product designer, a UX team, or anyone working with design systems, this upgrade means the AI can now handle the bigger and more complex projects while keeping everything on brand. So that is 7 updates in 1 week. Let me zoom out for a second and tell you why this matters. Google is not just building a chatbot anymore. They're turning every single Google product into an AI-powered system. Search is becoming a workspace. Notebook LM is becoming a video production studio. Gemini models are getting faster and smarter. Developer tools are getting AI leaderboards. The people who learn how to use this stuff early are going to have a massive advantage. We are talking AI that sounds like a real human, a tool that writes full songs in seconds, and live translation across 70 languages right in your ear. This is not a drill. Google Gemini just went crazy, and the best part, all of it is free. Let's get into it. So Google just went on a full update spree, 6 big drops, all free. And I am going to break every single one down for you right now, starting with the one that genuinely stopped me in my tracks. And this one is wild. Google DeepMind just gave us something called Lyria 3 Pro. And what it does is insane. It writes full songs up to 3 minutes long with a real structure, intro, verse, chorus, bridge, all of it from one single prompt. You type something like, create me a cinematic pop song about chasing your dreams in a digital world. And in seconds, you get a full track. Real music, real structure. Sounds like something a producer spent days on, but it took seconds. Think about what this means if you are a content creator. You need background music for your YouTube videos, done. You need an intro track, done. You need something for an ad or a reel, done. Lyria 3 Pro just handed you a music library for free. And here is the thing I want you to sit with. If AI can write a 3-minute song with a proper chorus and a bridge in seconds, Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite. And if you have ever used an AI voice tool before, you already know the problem. There's always a pause, that weird robotic silence where it loads up its answer. It feels like talking to a machine, not anymore. Gemini 3.1, Flash-Lite is fast, like zero pause fast. You can interrupt it mid-sentence and it just keeps thinking and talking. You ask a follow-up question instantly and it answers instantly. It does not stop. It does not reset. It just flows. This is the closest AI has ever felt to a real human conversation. And I have been in the AI space for a long time. I do not say that lightly. Think about your workflow right now, customer service, practicing a pitch, brainstorming ideas out loud, having a back and forth conversation with an AI that actually keeps up with you. It is all different now. And this is powered by Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite, which is free. But here's what I want you to think about. We have covered voice AI and music generation, and we are only 2 updates in. There are 4 more, and one of them is going to change how you travel, how you do business meetings, and how you talk to people who speak a completely different language. Stay tuned. I will get to that one soon. Update number 3, and this one sounds boring at first, but stick with me because it is actually a big deal. Google just added a chat history import feature to the Gemini app. What does that mean? It means if you have been using ChatGPT or any other AI tool and you have built up your preferences, your saved chats, your whole setup, you can now bring all of that into Gemini in one move. The number one reason people do not switch AI tools is because they do not want to start from scratch. They do not want to lose everything they have set up. Google just removed that excuse completely. This is Google saying, come on over, we made it easy. And when the best free AI voice tool, the best free music generator, and the best free translation feature are all sitting inside Gemini, that is very easy. Yes, the friction is gone. And that is a bigger deal than most people realize. Now, I want to pause here because if you are watching this and thinking, okay, this is great, but how do I actually use all of this stuff in my business to save time and get real results? This one is for anyone who owns a Google TV or is thinking about getting one. Google just added Gemini directly into Google TV. And what this does is turn your television into an interactive assistant. You're watching a football match and you want a real-time breakdown of the stats. Ask Gemini. You're watching a documentary and you want to know more about what they're talking about. Ask Gemini. You want it to explain something on screen like you are 10 years old. It does that too. Your TV is no longer just a screen. It is now a conversation. And for families, for students, for anyone who watches content and wants to actually learn from it, this is a quiet but massive upgrade. Update number 5. This is the one I promised you earlier, and it is the one that genuinely blew my mind when I first saw it. Google just upgraded live translation inside Google Translate, and it now works across more than 70 languages in real time, right through your headphones on iOS. So here is what this looks like in practice. You are in a business meeting with someone who speaks a different language. They talk, you hear the translation in your ear instantly. You talk back, they hear it in their language instantly. No lag, no awkwardness, no translator sitting in the room. Language barriers are basically gone now. Think about what that means for travel, for business, for building relationships with people anywhere in the world. This is one of those updates that sounds small, but is actually massive when you think about the real world use cases. 70 plus languages, real time, free. That is not small. That is the future. Update number 6, and I am saving this one for last because it is the one that points to where all of this is going. Google DeepMind just announced a partnership with Agile Robots. The goal, next generation intelligent robots. Robots that can think, respond, and operate in the real world using the same AI that powers everything we just talked about. This is where AI leaves your screen. This is where it stops being a chatbot and starts being a physical presence in the world. We're not there yet, but Google just made a very loud statement about where they are heading. And when you line all 6 of these updates up together, music generation, voice AI, seamless chat switching, smart TV, real-time translation, and intelligent robots, you start to see what Google is actually doing. They are not just adding features, they are rebuilding how we interact with AI from the ground up. Everything is connected, everything is getting faster, and everything is free right now. So here is what I want you to take away from this. These updates are not just cool things to talk about, they are tools. And the people who learn how to use these tools right now, they are the ones who are going to be ahead of everyone else in 6 months. The music creators who use Lyria 3 Pro, the business owners who use Gemini Flash-Lite, the people having conversations in 70 languages without a translator, they are all going to look like geniuses. Okay, so Google just dropped a ton of free upgrades to Gemini, and honestly, some of these are wild. We're talking brand new AI image generation, free video creation, AI music, a total redesign of their creative studio, plus new on-device features that actually protect you from scams. And the best part, most of this is free, so buckle up. Because by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what's new, what's actually worth your time, and how to use these tools to grow your business faster. Let's get into it. All right, first up, the big one, Nano Banana 2. Yes, that's actually what it's called. And no, I didn't make that up. Google just released Nano Banana 2, their state-of-the-art image generation model, and this thing is genuinely impressive. Here's what makes it different from everything else out there. It generates images with real-world knowledge baked in. So it's not just making pretty pictures, it actually understands context, it understands the world, and it can create images that feel real and accurate, not just generic AI slop. It also supports text in multiple languages inside the image. So if you're creating content for a global audience, or you need graphics with text in Spanish, French, Japanese, whatever, this handles it natively. And that's a big deal for anyone doing international marketing. And creatively, it's built to bring your most ambitious ideas to life. The quality has jumped significantly from the previous version. Next, VO 3.1. Google's video generation model just got updated, and they've added VO 3.1 templates directly inside the Gemini app. This is huge because before, generating video with AI required jumping between tools, learning complex interfaces, and still ending up with something that looked broken. Now, with the new templates, it's basically point and click video creation. You pick a template, you add your prompt, you get a video. For anyone creating content for YouTube, social media ads, or client deliverables, this changes the game. You don't need a camera crew, you don't need expensive editing software. Lyria 3 also just dropped as a template inside Gemini. Lyria 3 is Google's AI music generation model, and now it's right there alongside the image and video tools, so you can generate a complete video, create original music to go with it, and produce a fully polished piece of content without leaving the app. Think about what that means for your content pipeline. No more buying stock music, no more worrying about copyright strikes, no more paying for music licensing. You generate it, you own it, you use it. Flow by Google just got a major redesign. If you haven't heard of Flow, it's Google's AI creative studio, and the redesign is significant. They're positioning it as the place where everything comes together: images, video, music, story, all in one workspace. The goal is to make it feel less like a collection of separate tools and more like one unified creative environment. Think of it like having a full production studio inside your browser. For content creators, this is a serious upgrade. You can go from idea to finished content faster than ever before. And because it's all inside one platform, there's no messy file transfers or compatibility issues. They're clearly building towards something big here. And I'll tell you right now, this is one to watch. Because if they nail the execution, Flow could become the go-to creative tool for anyone building content at scale. Now let's talk about Opal. Opal is from Google Labs, and they just introduced a new agent step that turns static workflows into interactive experiences. Here's what that means in plain English. Before, you could use Opal to set up automated workflows, but they were kind of fixed. They ran the same way every time. Now, with the new agent step, your workflows can actually respond and adapt based on what's happening. They become interactive. This is a massive step forward for automation because real business processes aren't static. Things change, inputs vary, decisions need to be made mid-workflow, and now your AI workflows can handle that. If you're building automations for your business, whether that's lead generation, content creation, client onboarding, or anything else, this kind of adaptive workflow is what separates basic automation from truly intelligent automation. Next up, Producer AI. Google just officially brought Producer AI into Google Labs. Producer AI is your AI music creation partner, and now it's officially part of the Google ecosystem. This matters because it signals Google is getting serious about AI-generated music, and having it inside Google Labs means it's going to get better, faster, with more integrations coming. If you're creating YouTube content, podcasts, ads, or any kind of media, having access to a proper AI music tool that's integrated with the rest of your workflow is genuinely useful. You're not just getting background noise, you're getting music that fits your content, your brand, and your audience. Now, here's one that surprised me, and I think it's actually one of the most important announcements in this whole update. Google is now offering Gemini AI training to all 6 million K-12 teachers and higher education faculty in the United States. 6 million teachers for free. Think about what that means long term. The next generation of students is going to grow up knowing how to use AI. They're going to be comfortable with it, fluent in it, and expecting it in their work. The gap between people who understand AI and people who don't is going to get much wider, much faster. And if you're watching this video, you're already ahead of the curve. You're learning this stuff now while most people are still figuring out what a prompt is. But don't get comfortable because the pace of change is accelerating, which is exactly why staying updated matters so much. All right, last one, and this one is super practical. Samsung Galaxy S26 is getting new on-device AI features powered by Gemini. Two things stand out here. First, scam detection. Your phone will now be able to detect scams in real time, phone calls, messages, emails. If something looks like a scam, Gemini flags it before you fall for it. This is genuinely useful. Scams are getting more sophisticated and more common. Having an AI layer that catches them on device without your data going to a server is a big deal for security and privacy. Second, everyday task offloading. You can basically hand off routine tasks to Gemini directly from your phone. Set reminders, draft messages, look things up, manage your calendar, all through natural conversation with Gemini on your device. And because these features run on device, they're fast and private, your data stays on your phone. For anyone running a business from their phone, which honestly is most people now, this kind of seamless AI assistance is going to save you real time every single day, okay? Let's wrap this up with the big picture. Google just dropped a ton of upgrades across Gemini and its ecosystem. You've got Nano Banana 2 for image generation with real-world knowledge and multilingual text. You've got Veo 3.1 and Lyria 3 templates for easy video and music creation. You've got a redesigned Flow moving toward a full creative studio. You've got Opal making workflows interactive and adaptive. You've got Producer AI joining the Google Labs family. You've got 6 million teachers getting Gemini training. And you've got powerful on-device AI coming to Samsung Galaxy S26. The through line across all of this is the same. AI is getting more capable, more integrated, and more accessible. And the people who learn to use these tools now are going to have a massive advantage. We're talking custom music, smarter reasoning, better images, video templates, deep research, and real scientific citations, all free, all inside Gemini. And today I'm going to break down every single one so you can start using them right now. Let's get into it. So the first update is wild. It's called Lyria 3. And what it does is let you generate custom soundtracks right inside Gemini. Not like some basic beat. I'm talking about real music tracks, 30 seconds long. And here's what makes it crazy. You don't just type in a prompt. You can feed it an image, you can feed it a video, and it matches the vibe automatically. Think about that for a second. You're making a YouTube short, you need background music. Instead of going to some other tool, instead of searching through a library, you just tell Gemini what mood you want. And it builds the track for you. It's like having a music producer sitting inside your browser, and it's in beta right now, so you can try it today. This is huge for content creators, huge for anyone making reels, huge for anyone running ads. You describe a feeling, Gemini gives you a soundtrack. That's Gemini 3.1 Pro. This is the reasoning upgrade, and this one is serious. See, most people use AI for simple stuff. Write me an email, give me a recipe, that's fine. But 3.1 Pro is built for the hard stuff. We're talking complex problems, multi-step thinking, taking a bunch of messy data and turning it into one clear picture. So imagine you've got 12 different research sources, all saying different things. 3.1 Pro can pull all of that together into one unified view. It can break down complex models visually. It can explain things step by step in a way that actually makes sense. This is not your average chatbot upgrade. This turns Gemini into a real research assistant, a strategy tool, an engineering brain. If you're building a business, if you're doing any kind of research, if you're solving problems that have a lot of moving parts, this is the update that matters most. Now let me show you the image upgrade. And yes, the name is funny. It's called Nano Banana 2, I know. But don't let the name fool you. This thing is a beast. So what's different? Nano Banana 2 gives you higher quality images, more realistic, more consistent, and faster. Before, AI images had that weird look to them. You could always tell. Hands were off, faces looked strange, things just felt a little fake. Nano Banana 2 fixes a lot of that. It understands the real world better. So when you ask it to create something, it looks like it actually belongs in the real world. This matters if you're a marketer, if you're a designer, if you run an agency, if you make content for social media. You're going from images that look AI generated to images that look like they came from a real shoot. That's a big jump, and it's all inside Gemini for free. VO 3.1 templates. Now this one is about making video creation easier. Before, if you wanted to use VO, you needed to know how to prompt. You needed to be good at describing exactly what you wanted. And that's a skill. Not everyone has it. But now, they added templates. You can browse a whole gallery, pick a style you like, remix it, add your own details, and boom, you've got a video. This is like going from a blank page to a coloring book. The structure is already there, you just fill in the fun parts. This makes Gemini way more beginner friendly, way faster, and way more creative, because sometimes you don't know what you want until you see it. And templates let you start from something instead of nothing. Okay, now this next one, this is the big brain update. Deep Think mode just got upgraded. And if you're a researcher, an engineer, a data analyst, pay attention, because this is built for you. Deep Think mode in Gemini 3 can now interpret complex data sets. It can model physical systems. It can write code for simulations, and it can drive real-world applications. This isn't casual AI. This is academic-grade reasoning, engineering-level modeling. This is the kind of tool that used to require and a whole team, and now it's sitting inside Gemini free. Let me give you an example. Say you're trying to understand how a system works, like a supply chain or a physics model. Deep Think can break that down, build it out, show you how the pieces connect, and do it at a level that actually holds up to scrutiny. That's powerful. And that brings us to the last update. And honestly, this might be the most important one for trust. Gemini now gives you real scientific citations, direct links to actual papers, verified sources, connected to the claims it makes. Why does this matter so much? Because AI hallucinations are a real problem. You ask AI something, it sounds confident, but it just made it up. That's dangerous, especially if you're doing research, writing a paper, making a business decision based on data. You need to know the source is real. Now, Gemini links you straight to the paper. You can check it yourself. You can verify. You can trust what it's telling you. This makes Gemini way more useful for students, for researchers, for anyone who needs source-backed answers. It's not just smart now, it's trustworthy. So let me bring this all together because I want you to see the full picture here. Gemini is no longer just a chatbot, it's now a music generator. With Lyria 3, it's a reasoning engine with 3.1 Pro. It's a high-quality image model with Nano Banana 2. It's a video remix tool with Veo 3.1 templates. It's a deep research assistant with upgraded Deep Think, and it's a citation-backed academic helper with verified sources, and most of this is free. That's what's wild about this. Google is quietly turning Gemini into a full AI operating system, a creative stack, a research stack, a production engine, all in one place. And they just keep shipping. If you're a creator, use Lyria 3 and Nano Banana 2. If you're a researcher, use DeepThink and the new citations. If you're building a business, use 3.1 Pro to think through complex problems. If you're making videos, use Veo templates. There's something here for everyone. What this essentially means is that you can now build AI agents that respond in real time using this new live update. I'm going to test out today. If you haven't seen the full details on this, basically what this means is you can build real-time conversational AI agents, right? So these are very low latency voice experiences. And I can imagine that all sorts of crazy apps are going to come out in the future about this stuff. So we're going to test out live today, see how we can use it, etc., see how it works. Now, the Gemini Live API is available to test on their website, like you can see right here. And you can also combine this with something like Stitch, right? So you can actually vibe design with Stitch. If you've never used Stitch before, let me guide you through exactly how to get access to that. So you can see it right here. You can also, for example, use this directly with Flash-Lite. You don't have to use it with Stitch. And then it also integrates with other stuff too, right? Let's have a look over here. For example, we can use the live mode inside Stitch here. And this basically allows us to use the AI agent to vibe design directly inside Stitch, right? Now, the cool thing about this is it integrates with Firebase, it integrates with a couple of other integrations here, and it's built for production environments, but real world systems require handling of diverse inputs from live video to on-demand phone calls, right? And so you can actually build with these integrations to just make these better in real time. Now, if you want to get started with this, you can actually use it directly inside Google AI Studio. And so you can start building with this directly if you want to. But essentially, what this means is that you can build AI agents that are a lot faster to respond. You can build much better voice AI agents. You could automate better things inside your business, and you can use it directly inside Stitch as well. So let's have a look at AI Studio and see exactly how to use it directly. Arvin says, "Hi, bro. I'm your big fan. I think you know me. Thank you very much, sir." Arvin, thanks so much for joining. Appreciate it, man. And from here, let's see if we can build with this bad boy. So we've got this real time with Gemini Live over here. You can actually use it inside Gemini, I think, directly. Let's try this out, see if we can use it. I'm going to have to change the mic on here. So if the mic breaks or if the sound is not very good, just tell me on the stream so that I know. So let's test this out now. Hopefully the audio is okay. And we're going to try this out. So this is using Gemini Flash-Lite Preview. Bear in mind, you could previously do this. You could previously use the real time, but this is a new update. So there was the old version where you could do live preview and you could share your screen inside AI Studio previously. And some people were watching this and thinking that's nothing new, but this is different. This is a faster model, right? So we're using Gemini 3 Flash-Lite Preview before anyone starts commenting like this isn't new, blah, blah, blah. All right, so let's try this out now. So now we've got 3 different options. We can talk to it, we can do webcams, and we can do share the screen, right? So if we just wanted to talk to this directly, let's see how it works. So we've got Gemini Flash-Lite Preview set up over here. We'll test this out. We have to acknowledge the permissions here. Let's see if it works. And then you can see here that I've got to accept the permissions here. So I'm going to accept this right now. Hey, are you working right now?
Yes, I'm here and ready to chat. What's on your mind? Is there something you need help with or just wanted to talk?
Yeah, just wanted a cheeky little chat if that's all right.
Absolutely. I'm always happy to have a chat. What have you been up to today or what's been interesting on your mind?
All right. Now, if you want to stop it, you can click the X You can always start a new conversation with it as well, but you can see how fast that was to respond, right? The actual voice itself doesn't sound that different, honestly, but it's using Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite, and it's a lot faster to reply as well, which is great, right? Now, you've got the live API as well that you can build with. So you can build like apps that take in text, audio, and video, and then they can work with your apps directly too. And you can also use this inside AI Studio directly, right? If you don't even want to mess around with the API. Now, not just that, you can also use this directly inside the playground of Google AI Studio to share your screen, right? And then conversate in real time as well. Let me show you an example of what that means and what that looks like. So if we go back to AI Studio over here, and then we're going to click on the playground again, we'll click on real time. But this time what we're going to do is we're going to click on share the screen here, right? And then we choose what screen we want to share, etc. I'm going to switch to performance here. Hey, can you see my screen okay?
Yes, I can see your screen. It looks like you're in Google Search Console showing performance on search results. Is there anything specific you want to discuss?
So I'd like you to just look through my keywords and help me figure out, okay, how can I do SEO better? I'd like you to look through my keywords and see if I can do SEO better.
I can certainly help with that. Looking at the top queries, many are branded like Julian Goldie and Anti Gravity Kit. It might be a good opportunity to focus on non branded terms related to SEO services or your specific offerings to capture more unbranded traffic. Are there specific pages on your site you're hoping to rank for?
I'm just going to disconnect from that for a second. So one of the first things that I noticed when we're using this is that previously, unless I'm using this wrong, previously when you were doing real time and you were sharing your screen, you could talk to it at the same time. But now it seems like when you do it, it if you do screen sharing with this, you can't do voice mode at the same time, from what I can see. If you're doing this directly inside AI Studio. So, for example, here we can share our screen and we can ask it questions inside the chat, but it doesn't seem to actually like reply to my voice, if that makes sense, unless I click on the start recording section here. Right. So that's quite interesting. Now, if we X off that as well, we can also switch between voices, it looks like. So you see here it says select the model voice. To change the setting, you have to disconnect. So if we start a new one here, then we can switch between different voices, right? Just let me know as well in audio if it's good as well. So just let me know on the if you're watching this live, if the audio is okay, just let me know so that I can make sure it's a good video for you. But you can see there's loads of different voices. We can also change the media resolution. We can switch between thinking mode. So currently there's no thinking mode, but we could switch between low, medium, and high if we wanted to as well. And then we've also got function calling. So you can actually call different functions and different tools. You can connect different tools here. So for example, we could use Google search right now, right? So it's pretty cool. The only thing I don't like is that it doesn't seem to speak to me with voice if I share my screen at the same time. Let's just try the video option now. So there's three options, right? You've got talk, which we've done. That seems to be the best so far. You've got share screen, but then you can only really type to it, which doesn't seem as good. And then you've got video here, right in the middle. So if we click on this, the video section here, and then we just allow this as well, I don't think it's going to actually respond to my voice as far as I'm aware. So it doesn't seem to respond to my voice. I'm going to say, hey, can you see me? Let's see if it does that instead.
Yes, I can see you. How can I help?
All right. So you can see here, it sends you like a voice message and it can see you. So if I say, okay, what am I doing right now? And then we wave my hand like that.
You're waving at me.
So it knows that we're waving at it. It can see the screen. It knows what we're doing, etc. You can imagine the possibilities of what you could build with this. There's so much potential to this. You could build AI agents that can do all sorts of cool things, right? You could. Mishak says, "Try and move without a keyword, please." I'm not sure what you mean, but feel free to expand on that. Thank you, sir. But yeah, that's basically how it works. So it's a pretty cool feature. You can imagine, like, if let's say, for example, you were struggling to set something up, you could share your screen and get help in real time from this as well. It does seem to be best with voice mode. which is great because if you're using something like Claude, I don't like the Claude voice chat. The ChatGPT one used to be good, but I just don't find it as good anymore. I think they're working on a new model for that. And then you can switch between these here, right? And so that's basically how to use it. So you just go to real time inside AI Studio, select GPT, select Gemini 3.1, and I would use it with talk. I think share screen and video, not so good from what I've seen so far. And then you can also switch the resolution here. And then you can also switch over here the max context size, plus you can add system instructions, right? So you can add system instructions over here. Now, if we wanted to build with this, so if we went over to the build section here, we could start creating with this, I think, directly too, right? 100% sure how we would do that, but I'm going to test this out now. Just being 100% honest with you. It's a brand new feature. There's not much documentation on it. But let's say, for example, we wanted to use this. I'm going to go inside the build section and we'll say, using Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite, create a voice agent app that teaches me Spanish. And we'll start building with that, right? Now, if you want to get some really good use cases for this, for your personal situation, here's how I would do it, right? So I'd go over to something like Claude and I'd be like, okay, based on this new update, what apps could I build that save me time or actually be useful day to day? And so you take the information from the Gemini Flash 3.1 Flash documentation here, and then you'd go back over to Claude and just get some ideas for what you could do. For example, like a voice to script generator, right? A voice SEO brief creator, a live Q&A replier as well, like a voice agent that we could actually embed inside our community that answers member questions about AI tools and just handles the repetitive stuff, but also gives some people like a cool thing to play with and use in the background, right? Now, if we go back to here, let's flip between these. There's so many different options you can add here. It's crazy. All right, so I think we've built that now. Yes, you can see here it said, I've built Elena, your personal Spanish voice tutor, powered by Gemini 3.1 Flash Live. It's designed for immersive real-time conversation. She speaks primarily in Spanish that we practice. Let's try it out now. All right, so we've got the app right here, and then we can start practicing here. So if we click on start conversation, so we can click end session there, but you get the point. Like you can easily create these apps that work step by step. Let me know if you can hear the audio on that. I'm just going to play that again. Can you speak Spanish? All right, so you get the point. Like it can speak in Spanish directly to you, which is pretty cool. And it was pretty easy and simple to set up. And now Mishak says, when deploying an app, is it only on your local computer because of the API? So what you want to do here is if you want to share this with the world, you can do it like this, right? So you'd publish it and you publish it to a Google Cloud project like this, and then you're good to go, right? So you just select a project like that. You can select a cap on this, right? So you can actually spend like a set limit. And then once you've done that, you can publish the app. Now, everything up to this point was free, but then if you're using, for example, Google Cloud to publish it and deploy it, then that would cost budget every time someone uses the API. Every time someone uses your AI agent, right? And so it's publishing now, which means we can get this deployed on a domain, and it's pretty easy and simple to set up. So you literally, the steps are, you go to AI Studio, and look, the app is published now. So if we click on this, we can see it fully published on a subdomain here. We've got this ready to set up and we can start using it, right? So it's using Gemini 3.1 Live. We can speak to it directly. It's deployed full screen, which is pretty nice. That was super easy and simple to set up, right? And so now we've got a Spanish tutor using Gemini 3.1 Live, which is awesome. So super easy. And then that is not just deployed to your local, right? This all of AI Studio is not local anyway; it's stored on the cloud. But basically, you've now got an app that you can share with the world and give to people and that sort of thing, right? So that's basically how to use it. That's how it works step by step. So it was pretty easy and simple to get access to that. Pretty easy to set up your own app as well, and super quick to deploy too. And now you can create AI agents and then share it with the world and that sort of thing. Michelle says, can we build a Quen 3.5 in a mobile app? Yeah, you can do that locally if you wanted to. You wouldn't be using AI Studio. Obviously, that's running with Google AI Studio, but you could run that locally, yeah, for sure. So let's talk about this. what even is this? So Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite is Google's brand new voice AI model, right? It's like a phone call, but the other person is an AI. So it can hear you, it can understand you, and it can talk back in real time. Now, the old voice sounded robotic and slow. It would pause awkwardly, it would misunderstand you, it would forget what you said 30 seconds ago. And Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite fixes that. So the big new upgrades, number one, it's a lot faster, right? So when you talk to it, it responds faster than ever, no awkward silences, no more waiting for it to think, and it feels like a real conversation. Now, that is true for audio, but it's not 100% true for video, right? Like you were seeing before, when you're using the video, it seems to be a lot slower when you actually use this directly. What's the difference here as well? It actually understands complex topics as well, right? So you can add reasoning to the level of AI that you have. And it's also scored 90.8% on complex funk bench audio benchmarks, right? Which is basically a test where you give AI hard multi-step instructions out loud. And this is scored the best score of any AI voice model in the world. Additionally, it understands how you say things, apparently, so it can understand not just what you say, but how you say it, right? So if you sound frustrated, you notice this. If you sound confused, you notice this, right? It picks up on your tone, your pace, and your mood. So it's better at dynamically adjusting its response to users' expressions of frustration or confusion. And then also, it can remember a lot more of your conversation, which is a lot more useful, and it works in 200 countries and languages, right? So Search Live, which uses this model, just expanded to more than 200 countries and territories, right? So how can you use this right now? Number one, you've got the Gemini Live app, right? Number two, you've got Search Live, so you've got Google Search. And then you've also got AI Studio, which is how we used it today. And AI Studio you would use if you want to develop it. Additionally, you can use it inside Stitch, and you can share your screen in real time and talk to AI agent there too, right? So that's basically how it works. So just to recap, Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite is Google's best AI voice model ever. It just dropped. It's faster, smarter, and more natural. It scores number one in the world on the hardest AI voice benchmarks. Understands your tone and emotions, not just your words. It remembers twice as long in conversations, works in over 200 countries, and it's available right now in Gemini Live, Search Live, and Google AI Studio. So thanks so much for watching. That is how to use this, how to get started with it, how to get access to it, what it means, why it's different, etc. New Google Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite is insane. You are wasting time typing searches you could just speak out loud. You're missing out on a tool that just got a massive upgrade. Most people still do not know this exists, and the ones who do are already using it to work faster. This just dropped right now, this week. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what it is, how to get access to it, and what you can actually build with it today. Google just launched Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite. They're calling it their highest quality audio model ever built. This is a real-time voice AI. You talk to it and it talks back instantly. No long pauses, no awkward delays, just conversation. But here is what makes this different from every voice assistant you've used before. Old voice AI had a problem. When you spoke, the system had to wait for you to stop, convert your speech to text, send that text to an AI, convert the answer back to audio, then play it to you. By the time it responded, the conversation felt dead. Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite collapses all of that into one step. It processes audio natively, no text middleman. It hears you, thinks, and responds, all in real time. The conversations feel natural. The rhythm is right. It actually sounds like talking to someone who is present with you. Let me put some real numbers on this. On complex funk bench audio, which tests whether a voice AI can handle multi-step tasks from spoken commands alone, Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite scored 90.8%. A voice agent built on this can do complex chain tasks just from your voice without ever touching a keyboard. On Scale AI's audio multi-challenge, which tests whether the model stays focused when you interrupt yourself, change direction mid-sentence, or there's noise around you, it scored 36.1% with thinking mode on. That is the top score among real-time conversational voice models. It also filters out background noise, traffic, TV background chatter. The model stays focused on what you are actually saying. It supports over 90 languages for real-time conversation, and the context window sits at 128,000 tokens, taking audio, images, video, and text as input, genuinely multimodal. One more thing, it can now follow a conversation thread for twice as long as the previous version. Long brainstorms, complex problems, detailed back and forth. The AI keeps the full context. You do not have to repeat yourself. 3 ways to get your hands on this right now. The first is Google AI Studio. This is where developers access the Gemini Live API. Go to ai.google.dev, find the Live API section, and you can start testing with Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite in preview today. The second is Gemini Live. If you use the Gemini app on your phone, the upgraded model is rolling out there now. You will notice faster responses and longer conversations without losing the thread. The third is Search Live. Google just expanded this globally to over 200 countries. Search Live lets you have a real-time voice and camera conversation with Google Search instead of typing. It just went from being a US-only feature to available in basically every country where AI mode is live. When I first started building with voice AI tools, I was honestly overwhelmed. So many options, so many APIs, and I did not always know which approaches were worth the time. Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite is not just a voice assistant, it is a foundation for building voice-first agents that actually do things. The model has been significantly improved in its ability to trigger external tools from voice. You can build agents that hear a request, execute a series of actions, pull data, send messages, update systems, and report back all through natural spoken conversation. Here are real examples of what developers are already building with it right now. Stitch, a design tool from Google, now lets users vibe design with their voice. You talk to it, it sees your canvas, gives design critiques, and builds variations in real time. A company called Ato built an AI companion for older adults using the model's multilingual capabilities to turn daily conversations into real connections. A game called Wits End uses Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite to power a human-like game master in a role-playing experience using the model's natural delivery and characterization. Design, companionship, entertainment, the range is the point. For practical, everyday use, think about what a real-time voice agent could look like in your workflow. Customer service tools that sound human, language tutoring apps, real-time translation, voice-activated task management, meeting assistants that listen and take action. Anything you would want to do through conversation, this model can now power. And because the model understands tone, it is not just hearing your words, it picks up on pitch and pace. If you sound frustrated, it adjusts. If you sound confused, it picks up on that too. That is a big deal for anyone building customer-facing tools. The experience feels less like talking to a bot and more like talking to someone who is actually paying attention. That shift in quality is what opens up use cases that were not realistic before. If you want to experiment right now, here is what to do. Go to aigoogle.dev, log in with your Google account, navigate to the Gemini Live API documentation. The model string you need is Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite preview. Thinking level defaults to minimal for lowest latency, which is what you want for real-time conversation. You can increase it to low, medium, or high. If you want deeper reasoning before responding, think of it like a dial. Minimal keeps it fast and snappy. High makes it think harder before it speaks. For live conversation, minimal is almost always the right call. For more complex agentic tasks where accuracy matters more than speed, you can push it up. The API supports voice, video frames, and text simultaneously, so the input options are genuinely flexible. You can build everything from a simple voice chatbot to a more complex agent that sees your screen or camera feed and responds accordingly. One more thing worth knowing, all audio generated by Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite is watermarked using Synthd, that is Google's technology for embedding an inaudible signal into AI-generated audio that identifies it as machine-made. You cannot hear it, but it can be detected. Google built this in to help prevent AI audio from being used to spread misinformation. Quick recap, Gemini 3.1. Flash-Lite is Google's best voice AI model to date. It processes audio natively, so conversations feel instant. 90.8% on multi-step function calling through voice, 36.1% on the audio multi-challenge, top score for real-time conversational models. Over 90 languages available in Google AI Studio for developers, in the Gemini app for everyone, and now powering Search Live in over 200 countries globally. This is not a minor update, this is a meaningful jump in what real-time voice AI can do. Start in Google AI Studio today, even just to test the voice quality. Hearing it yourself takes 5 minutes and will tell you more than any description I can give you. So Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite, brand new, just released. Here's what makes this insane. This is a budget AI model, a small, cheap, fast model, but it just outperformed Google's bigger, more expensive models on reasoning tests. It's basically a budget car that just beat a Ferrari, and that's what happened here. And the best part is you can use it for free right now. Let's test it out, and we're gonna get straight into this. So you can see Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite, built for intelligence at scale. It was just announced today, which means that you get basically a much cheaper, faster version of Gemini, and you can actually use it for free as well. But if you're coding with the API, then it would be a lot cheaper, but it's faster ever as well. This is like a smaller model, but it's pretty powerful when I've tested, for example, Gemini Flash 3.0 in previous tests. Now, this is 3.1 Flash-Lite, and as you can see right here, it outperforms 2.5 Flash with 2.5 faster time to first answer token and a 45% increase in output speed according to the artificial analysis benchmark, right? So this is very low latency, and if you need high frequency workflows, okay, you need to move fast to build fast, then this is great. The other thing that this is noted for is responsive real-time experiences, right? So if you look at, for example, GPT 5.3, they just released GPT 5.3 Instant. If you look at, for example, Claude Code, they just released a fast model. Everybody wants faster models when it comes to building with AI, and it's no different with 3.1 Flash-Lite, right? So we can see how it performs on benchmarks over here. So in terms of speed and cost and output speed, right, you can see the Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite is absolutely flying ahead of all the other models, right? So it scores 363 versus, for example, Gemini 2.5 Flash, GPT-5 Mini, Claude Haiku, Grok 4.1 Fast. They're not even in the race at this point, right, as you can see. And then in terms of price, GPT 3.1 Flash-Lite is a lot cheaper than, look at the cost of, for example, Claude 4.5 Haiku, right? Pretty expensive. $5 versus 1.5 for Gemini 3.1 Flash. You can see an example of the answers in real time. So this is 2.5 Flash versus Gemini 3.1, and this just gives much faster answers, 2% complete versus 0% complete. And then also, we can see the full benchmarks here, right? So if we look at all the fast models, so GPT-5 Mini, Haiku, Grok 4.1 Fast, etc., on pretty much all the benchmarks, Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite is winning. So like GPQA Diamond, Humanities Last Exam, etc. It's only Grok 4.1 Fast that is still beating Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite on Humanities Last Exam. In terms of output speed, is much higher than almost everything apart from 2.5 Flash-Lite. And in terms of the price, it's actually quite a lot higher than 2.5, but cheaper than 2.5 Flash, but a lot more expensive than Flash-Lite, right? And then you can see the examples right here. So it's also got standard thinking levels as well, and you can use this inside AI Studio too. I think this will be available inside Gemini now as well. We can check today and see how it performs, and then we can run it through a few tests and see how it's doing so far. Shivam says, how is GPT 5.3 instant versus 5.2? Check out the previous video on that. We've already covered it. But yeah, 5.3 is a lot better. If you've got questions, by the way, just make sure you leave them inside the chat and I will answer them at the end. So you can see here, this is the announcement. If we want to get access, can we get access inside the chat? Let's have a look here. We'll see what API it's using. I don't know if it's fully rolled out to Gemini yet. So it's Gemini 3 Flash still inside. Yeah, so you can see here, it's still using Gemini 3 Flash inside Gemini. So the new update is not being rolled out there yet. Let's have a look inside AI Studio. So if we go back to the dashboard, we can go to the playground, and then we just need to make sure that we select Flash. Let's find it. There we go. All right. So what you want to do, if you want to get access to this, is you would go to the playground here. Then you're going to click on this model, type in Flash, and scroll down to Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite preview. That's how you can get access to this model. It doesn't seem to be rolled out on my version of Gemini yet. So from there, what we can do is we can go inside here and just test out in terms of how it performs. So we'll test out with a very simple prompt for creating Space Invaders, see how that performs. Wow, that is fast. It literally just coded out Space Invaders in like one click. I don't know if the output is going to be any good or not, but we can test it out. So if we click on show preview, boom, look at that. That's crazy. It's a little bit buggy on the game, but the fact that it coded out so fast is actually wild. Let's test out the same prompt on GPT 5.3. Instant, and we'll see if it can do that. But that's very impressive. The speed of that was just outrageous considering it actually works. So if we go to 5.3 instant, we'll try and create the same thing. We're going to turn on the canvas, see if it can do it. So I mean, like 5.3 instant is super fast too, but it doesn't seem anywhere near as fast as 5.3 Flash. Sorry, it's Gemini 3.1 Flash. Yeah, see, it's taking quite a while. We can come back to that later. Oh, there we go. We've got the preview. All right, let's try this out. 5.3, it's done a decent job as well, you know. It's not quite as fast as Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite, but it's decent. So let's text out another prompt here. We try and create a Flappy Bird game, standard. Change to Craig, says, how are most people handling OpenClaw installation? Yeah, so the way that I do it is I just install it locally and then it's running from the cloud once I connect it to Telegram. If you want to use a VPS, don't use like a, you know, your common sort of VPS methods for OpenClaw. Really what you want to do is you want to set up, if you're insistent on using a VPS, right, use Maltworker. Maltworker is a lot more secure. Runs in a sandbox. You have to approve anyone's logins before you can start using your OpenClaw, and that's just a lot better, right? That is a lot better than using like a VPS where someone can, you know, get access to the gateway and then, you know, they can get access to your OpenClaw, which would be no bueno. So let's have a look here and see how Flappy Bird performs. So here's Flappy Bird. There's no obstacles, to be fair. I do feel like with Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite, it will give you a quick answer, but it doesn't think about the answer much from what I've seen so far. Now, I wonder if you can actually change the thinking level. So you can change the thinking level inside AI Studio, and that'll probably give you better results, right? So if we take that, we're gonna open up a new chat here. We're gonna switch the thinking level from minimal, which is as low as it possibly can be, to something like medium. We'll just see how that performs. Also, something to note here is I tried to check inside anti-gravity to see if Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite was released yet, and it's not there yet. Right, so it's still the old version of Gemini 3 Flash is inside anti-gravity, but I couldn't see in Gemini 3.1 Flash. Just something to note. Mohammed says, what's going on? So we are testing Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite today. Let's show the preview of this. Yeah, so it's not bad, but it's when it creates stuff, it's a little bit buggy, as you can see. Like it doesn't feel that smooth. But it does give you super fast answers. So it's nowhere near like the same level as something like Gemini 3.0 Pro. We'll let that go, right? But it does give you extremely fast answers. Even on like medium thinking level, it can do a good job. Just to put that in perspective, if we switch this over to something like, for example, Gemini 3.0 Pro, so we can use 3.1 Pro, right? This is like a much better, more powerful API, and we keep the thinking level on high just to show you how better the outputs will be, how much better they'll be. With the Pro model, we'll run this example, right? And again, you can get access to these models for free inside Google AI Studio, right? You just use the playground and then you can use all this stuff for free. Now, just to recap, whilst we're doing that, whilst waiting for this to code out, just to recap on the notes, you know, what is Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite and why should you care? So Google released Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite on March the 3rd today, right? This is fresh off the press and it's now in live preview on Google AI Studio, which is free to access. Or if you're on an enterprise team account, then you can use Vertex AI, right? Here's what makes it different. It is 2.5 times faster than Gemini 2.5 Flash, the model that it replaces. It is 45% faster at generating outputs than its predecessor. It outperforms larger, more expensive Gemini models from the previous generation on key reasoning benchmarks. It scored 86.9% on GPQA Diamond, a test designed for expert level reasoning whilst costing a fraction of bigger models. I just want to double check on the context window. Let's have a look here. Yeah, so it does have this is pretty insane. Million context window, right? That is huge. That's as big as it can be currently. So it has a 2 million token context window, meaning it can read and process enormous amounts of text in one go, much bigger than, for example, GPT 5.3 Instant, which has a 128,000 context window. It supports text, image, video, and audio input. It comes with built-in thinking levels, so you can literally dial in how hard it thinks before it answers. If you're just doing fast tasks, you would use minimal, high for complex reasoning, and that's brand new as well, right? So if you want to change the thinking level, you just do it on the right-hand side over there inside AI Studio. Now, if we preview the new version, so this is like the new version of Flappy Bird that we built inside AI Studio with Gemini 3.0 Pro, and you can just see how much better that looks versus the older version using Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite, right? So Gemini Pro is always going to outcompete the Flash models. So if you want the best possible outputs, then of course you would use something like Gemini 3 Pro. But if you want something that's fast, that's real time, that's cheaper, then you would go with Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite. It's the most cost efficient model in the entire Gemini 3 series, and you can access it today at AI aistudio.google.com. So thanks so much for watching. We've tested it out. We've seen how it performs. It is pretty impressive as a model, super fast, performs very well on the benchmarks and gives good outputs in real life too. We've actually got a 30-day plan if you want to master this inside the AI Profit Board and video notes from today. And, just in terms of how this works, so some people want to say I'm not technical enough to use AI tools. If you can type a sentence, you can use Gemini 3.1 Flash, right? There's no code, no installation, no developer knowledge needed. You just go to AI Studio and type in a prompt as you've seen today. Other people are going to say, well, AI outputs are generic and useless for my business. Honestly, the more specific the prompt, the more specific the output, right? So if you're using something like Gemini 3.1 Flash, you can easily create like amazing content, amazing tweets, amazing blog posts, etc., as long as you're very specific with the prompts. And yeah, we've also got 100 prompts you can test out with this, as you can see, split by category. So for example, lead generation prompts. We've got prompts for example, content creation. We have prompts for business strategy, etc. AI can now make full songs, not clips, not previews, full songs. This changes everything for creators. And the best part, you don't need to know anything about music. I'm going to show you exactly what Lyria 3 Pro can do and why it's a total game changer. For years, and I mean years, AI music was a joke. You type a prompt, you get some weird 30-second clip, no structure, no story, just noise. And if you tried to use it for a YouTube video or a short or an ad, it sounded wrong, like elevator music made by a robot having a bad day, forever. And then Google just changed all of that. This is Lyria 3 Pro, and it is not like anything we've seen before. Here's what's actually new. Before AI music models made clips, Lyria 3 Pro makes songs. We're talking up to 3 full minutes with a real intro, a real verse, a real chorus, and even a bridge. This thing understands how music is actually built. When you're making a YouTube video, you don't want a random clip in the background. You want something that builds, something that rises with your content, drops when you need a moment, and hits hard when you want it to. That's what Lyria 3 Pro actually does. And nobody else has cracked this yet. This is Google doing something genuinely new. Now here's what I want you to stay for, because I'm going to show you exactly how to use this, what prompts to use, and which platforms you can access it on right now. Because this thing is stacked. First, full-length tracks, up to 3 minutes of real structured music. That's enough for a full YouTube video background track. That's enough for a short film. That's enough for a podcast intro and outro with room to spare. You generate it in seconds, no license issues, no monthly subscription to a stock music site. Done. Second, lyrics and vocals. You heard that right. Lyria 3 Pro doesn't just make instrumentals. It can write lyrics and actually sing them, and it supports multiple languages too. So if you're making content in Spanish, Hindi, Portuguese, it's got you. This is huge for global creators who've always had to settle for English-only AI tools. Third, and this is the part that blew my mind, structure-aware music. You can literally tell it how the song should flow. You can say something like, start with a soft, emotional piano intro, build slowly, then drop into a powerful orchestral chorus with choir and drums. And it does exactly that. Clean transitions and all. That's not AI making sound. That's AI thinking like a music producer. Fourth, image and video to music. You can upload a photo or a clip, and Lyria 3 Pro will generate a soundtrack that matches the mood and vibe of what it sees. Think about that for a second. You shoot some footage, you drop it in, you get a custom score made for that exact moment. That's something Hollywood composers charge a lot to do, and AI just made it a few clicks. And fifth, it's built right into the tools you already use. Lyria 3 Pro is available inside Google Gemini, Google Vids, Vertex AI, and Google AI Studio, which means you're not downloading some new app or setting up some complicated workflow. You go into Gemini, type your prompt, and you got a full song. That's it. That's the whole process. Now, let me give you some actual prompts you can use right now, because I want you to walk away from this video and actually try it. For a cinematic emotional track, try this. Create a cinematic emotional soundtrack with a soft piano intro, slow build, then a powerful orchestral chorus. Include choir and deep drums with dramatic transitions. That prompt alone will get you something that sounds like it belongs in a movie trailer. For YouTube background music, try create a chill lo-fi beat with soft piano, vinyl crackle, and a relaxed tempo, loopable and smooth for a YouTube video. That's your evergreen background music sorted forever. For a suspense or storytelling video, try create a dark suspense track with rising tension, minimal piano, heartbeat, drums, and sudden dramatic drops. That one's gold for true crime, documentary style, or any kind of narrative content. And here's the thing, the more specific you are with the prompt, the better the output. Don't just say, make a happy song. Tell it the instruments, tell it the mood, tell it the structure, treat it like you're briefing a real producer, because honestly, that's kind of what you're doing now. One more thing worth saying, and I want to include this because it's important. Lyria 3 said, Pro doesn't clone real artists. It doesn't rip off songs, it creates original music, and every track it generates gets tagged with something called Synthid, Google's watermarking system for AI audio. So the music is traceable, it's built on licensed data, and you can actually use it without worrying. That's not nothing. A lot of AI tools skip this part, Google didn't. So let's zoom out for a second and just think about what this actually means. Before today, if you wanted good background music for your content, you either paid for a stock music platform, spent hours searching for the right track, or just settled for something generic that didn't really fit. Now you can describe exactly what you want in plain English and get a full original song in seconds. That's a massive shift for YouTubers, for Reels creators, for indie filmmakers, for podcasters. The barrier to great audio just dropped to almost zero, and I genuinely think this is going to make stock music websites a lot less relevant very quickly. When AI can give you something custom, original, and perfectly matched to your content in under a minute, why would you browse a library for hours? This is AI becoming a music producer, and it's just getting started. New Google Gemini update is insane. Google just dropped a new Gemini update, and it is insane. Like, I'm not even exaggerating right now. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what changed, why it matters, and how you can start using it today. Because Google basically turned Docs, Sheets, Slides, and Drive into a full AI coworker. And the crazy part, it's stupid easy to use. So let me break the whole thing down for you. All right, so here's what happened. Google took Gemini and shoved it deep inside every single Workspace app. We're talking Docs, Sheets, Slides, Drive, all of it. And this isn't like a little chatbot sitting in the corner. No, this is Gemini actually building stuff for you, creating full documents, making entire presentations, writing spreadsheets with formulas already done. This is a whole different level. And here's what makes this so wild. You don't have to copy paste from some other AI tool anymore. You don't have to open ChatGPT in one tab, then go to Google Docs in another tab, then format everything yourself. Gemini does it all inside the app. Right there, one step done. Let me show you what I mean. So first up, Google Drive. Drive now has something called AI overviews. Basically, you can search for anything in your Drive, and Gemini will read through your files, pull out the important stuff, and give you a summary. So instead of clicking through 20 folders trying to find that one document from 3 weeks ago, you just ask, and Gemini finds it, reads it, summarizes it, tells you exactly what you need to know. Drive basically just became an AI-powered knowledge base, which is nuts. Now let's talk about Slides, because this one blew my mind. You can type what kind of presentation you want, and Gemini will build the entire thing. I'm talking slide structure, text on every slide, design, visuals, even speaker notes. And these aren't locked templates you can't touch. These are fully editable slides. You can change anything you want, move stuff around, add your own brand, whatever. But the first draft, done in seconds. Think about how long it normally takes to build a presentation from scratch. Now it's basically instant. That alone saves you hours. But wait, it gets better. Let me tell you about what they did with Docs. Google added something called grounding sources, and this changes everything. So normally when you ask AI to write something, it just uses whatever it already knows, generic stuff. But with grounding sources, Gemini actually reads your Gmail, your Drive files, your Sheets data, your chat conversations, even web results, and then it writes a document based on all of that context. So imagine this, you need a project proposal based on last month's report. Normally you'd have to open 5 different files, read through everything, pull the numbers yourself, and then start writing. With this update, Gemini goes into your files, reads the data, pulls what it needs, and writes you a fully formatted proposal with real info from your real files. That's not generic AI writing. That's AI that actually knows your business. That's a game changer for anyone running a team or a company. And here's the wild part. It doesn't just read one file. It connects everything, your emails, your docs, your spreadsheets, your chats. It takes all of that and uses it as context. So the output actually makes sense for your specific situation, because Sheets got a massive upgrade too. So in Sheets, Gemini can now build entire spreadsheets for you. You tell it what you need, a tracker, a schedule, a data organizer, whatever, and it creates the whole thing. columns, rows, formulas, tables, all organized and ready to go. It can even handle complex stuff like scheduling and forecasting. So if you hate spreadsheets, which honestly most people do, Gemini just made your life way easier. You don't need to know formulas anymore. You don't need to watch a 2-hour tutorial on how to use VLOOKUP. You just tell Gemini what you want and it builds it. That's it. Now there's also this new feature called Help Me Create, and it works across docs, sheets, and slides. You just describe what you need, a trip planning document, a business plan, a quarterly report, whatever it is, and Gemini generates a fully formatted first draft instantly. No templates, no starting from a blank page. Just describe it and it does it. This one feature alone is going to change how people work. And here's why this update is such a big deal. Google Workspace has billions of users, billions. So when Google adds AI like this into tools that people already use every single day, the impact is massive. We're talking hundreds of millions of workers who now have an AI assistant built right into their workflow. You don't have to learn a new app. You don't have to switch platforms. It's just there inside the tools you already know. Now, I want to be real with you because I always keep it honest on this channel. There are some limitations. Some early testers have said the writing style can feel a little generic, a little corporate, and for creative writing, it's still not as good as a human. But for business stuff, reports, proposals, presentations, spreadsheets, it's extremely powerful. And it's only going to get better with every update. Now let's zoom out for a second, because this update is not just about features, it's about the bigger picture, the AI war. Google is going head to head with Microsoft Copilot, with ChatGPT, with Notion AI, and Gemini's biggest advantage is already inside the tools people use every day. Think about it. Docs plus Drive plus Gmail plus Sheets, that's your entire work life. And Gemini can read all of it. It has more context about your work than any other AI tool out there. That's a huge edge. Microsoft has Copilot inside Office, but Google has the data, your emails, your files, your spreadsheets, your conversations. Gemini can connect all of those dots, and that context is what makes the AI actually useful. Not just smart, useful. There's a massive difference. So who gets this update? Right now it's rolling out for Gemini AI Pro and Gemini AI Ultra users plus Workspace Enterprise users. The rollout started this month. So if you're on one of those plans, check your apps. It might already be there waiting for you. And here's the key takeaway from all of this. Google's strategy is clear. They want AI inside the software you already use, not separate, not in another tab, not in another app, right there in your docs, in your sheets, in your slides, in your drive. That's the future of work. And it's happening right now, not next year, not in some beta, right now. Think about what this means. A few years ago, AI was this thing you had to go out of your way to use. You had to learn new tools, new platforms, new workflows. Now it's just built in. You open Google Docs, and AI is right there, ready to help. You open Sheets, and AI builds your spreadsheet. You open Slides, and AI makes your presentation. That's a completely different world than where we were even 12 months ago. And it's only going to keep accelerating. Every month there's a new update. Every month AI gets smarter. Every month the tools get better. If you're not paying attention to this stuff, you're going to fall behind. Gemini is now built directly into every single one of these apps. You can tell Google Docs, for example, write me a newsletter using my meeting notes from last month, and it pulls your emails, your files, your chats, and writes the whole thing for you, formatted, done. In Sheets, you describe what you want in plain English, and Gemini builds the entire spreadsheet from scratch, pulls in your data, and even the web. And then in Slides, you can tell it to make a whole presentation. It designs the whole thing, matches your brand color and style. And in Drive, this is a big one. You now get AI overviews. So Google basically turned your entire workspace into an AI employee that already knows everything about your business. And today I'm going to test these features live and show you exactly what they can do. Let's get straight into it. This is available for Pro and Ultra plan members. So you can see here it's available to G1 Pro and Ultra users. And essentially what you can do, for example, is you can go into Google Docs and use Gemini directly inside Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, etc. Right? So what does that look like in reality? Well, here's an example, right? And you see how at the bottom we've got the write a paragraph about. We also got these options on like match doc template, templates, meeting notes, email draft, and more, right? You can actually add, for example, AI summaries, or you could, for example, go inside the communication and do an email draft, project management, all sorts of things, right? So you can see an example of an email draft right here. And let's say, for example, you wanted to create a new blog or something like that, right? So we can say here, okay, create a blog about the new AI updates from this week, and it'll begin to collect the information from Google Drive, from Gmail, and start plugging that into our Google Doc right here. Devin says, is this a pre-recording? I'm live right now. So it's collecting the information, might take a minute or so. And then you can see it's beginning to automate the whole Google Doc right here, which is pretty insane, right? And it actually talks about, for example, the new updates inside Gemini and NotebookLM, the Claude AI browser agents, Google AI Studio, etc. It talks about all sorts of cool stuff, all sorts of stuff that's happening, and a summary of this week's breakthroughs, right? This actually is pulled in from my emails and also from my Google Drive as well, right? So you can actually see some examples of how it works and that sort of thing. So we just automated a full Google Doc using this new Workspace example. Now you can also do the same inside Google Sheets as well. So if we go out to Google Sheets here, here's another example, right? And you can try out something called build. So let's say, for example, I'm like, right, okay, create time audit tracker that tracks what I spend my time on and how to automate that as a template that I can fill in day to day, right? And now we can generate a custom spreadsheet based on the new Workspace method. Now you can also reference other files, so you can type @ to reference your Workspace files. But the main thing to note here is like you can easily use this wherever you want. So you can use it inside Google Slides, inside Google Docs, inside Google Sheets. It will just go off and start doing this. Let's have a look at slides now as well. So if we go inside Google Slides here, we could say, okay, create a presentation about the new AI automation news updates this week. It will collect the information and then begin to design that. Now, if we go back to Excel, Excel did take a bit longer. Sorry, not Excel, but Google Sheets. It does take a bit longer, but it's beginning to pull in documents from other documents that I have inside Google Drive, if you can see here. So it says create time audit and automation tracker. So build a daily template to log time blocks, assess energy impact, and plan automation strategies using structured columns and drop downs, right? So you can create these beautiful presentations. It's actually taken some examples from other documents that I have on Google Drive, which is pretty insane. And then it's going to plug those into a Google Sheet, like you can see. Now, if we go into Google Slides here, it can only create one slide at a time, as you can see here. So I'm going to say, okay, create a slide about AI automation news this week. And if we go back to the Google Sheet, you can see here that it's created a time audit automation tracker. We can resize this so we can just put it on the side. And then you can see here that it's created a super useful time tracker with categories. Automation potential. It's just really planned it out well, probably better than most humans would. It's kind of engineered a beautiful tracker here where you can see, okay, here's a date, here's a time block, and it's actually beginning to now format it with nice colors, etc. So you can use these drop downs to track, okay, automation potential, the tool you're going to use, does it require expertise, does it drain or give me more energy, what's the category of the task, etc. And now if we go back to Google Slides here, you can see that it's pulled in this information about the latest AI news drops. I would say this is not as useful. So if we click on replace, we can insert the slide, but it's not pulled in the latest information, right? It's just taking information from my Google Drive rather than the web, which is not as useful, but we could always improve it by clicking enhance this slide and then just inserting information right here on what we want to add, right? But it has designed it has added these custom images, it's included some good information, and then the same on the tracker as well, like pretty useful. It looks way better than my existing spreadsheet, and we just created that in a couple of clicks. And then if we go back to the blog as well it's written pretty nicely, it's formatted nicely, and that sort of thing. Okay? So you can see the power of this stuff and how it works. So you can now automate slides, sheets, and Google Docs using this update. So let's talk about the Golden Grid framework and how you can use Gemini AI agents inside Google Workspace. And this is a framework I've built because it's built on the idea that Google Workspace is now really a living, breathing grid of AI agents that talk to each other, right? So before this update, Google Docs was just a doc, Sheets was just a spreadsheet, Slides were just slides. Now they're all connected through Gemini, and Gemini can see across your entire Google Drive, right? So you've got multiple layers. So for example, you can use this across, for example, creating like blog posts, presentations, You could use this inside your content. You could use this for lead generation and automation, right? We could say, for example, build a lead tracking spreadsheet with columns for all this information, and then we could generate leads and use this for tracking leads as well. If your team is struggling with building systems, like they could use these tools to create better systems for trackers and that sort of thing. But the main point is like Workspace feels a lot more alive now because you've got all this stuff right here. Now, Harm says, what can OpenClaw and Claude Code automate that's a game changer? So we have a lot of training on that inside my AI automation community, the AI Profit Boardroom. And basically, you know, with OpenClaw, for example, you can automate AI avatar videos, images. You can automate, for example, posting to WordPress. Like we actually ranked #1 with our website using a combination of OpenClaw and WordPress to generate SEO content that ranks on Google. As an example of that, you can see us ranking #1 right here with our website. But the main point here, you see us ranking there. But the main point here is like you can combine OpenClaw with anything that you do day to day. Same with Claude Code, and then you just automate what's going to help you the most, right? And that varies person to person. So, new empowering beliefs to win with AI. The wrong belief is that Google Workspace is just basic software. The real AI tools are somewhere else. The new belief is really Google Workspace is now an AI-powered operating system, and it's a really powerful tool, right? And here's the thing that most people miss. Everyone's chasing like the new shiny AI app, the new chatbot, the new automation tool. But Google have already dropped AI agents inside the tools you use every single day, right? And you can use, for example, like Nano Banana for generating images, or you can create amazing systems and spreadsheet trackers using this update as well. You could automate SEO content inside Google Docs now. You don't need OpenClaw, right? You can use this directly instead. Other people say, well, you know, AI generated slides and docs look terrible and generic. I'll still need a designer. Honestly, these are fully editable AI slides, meaning you direct the design with your words and then you tweak the details yourself. So if we go back here, you can see that we just automated a slide in like one click, and then we can just edit the minor details later. The same with the Google Doc, like it's pretty much ready to go in terms of posting that blog. So the old way was like opening ChatGPT in a separate tab, copying your business context, pasting it into every single prompt, getting generic output, copying the output, pasting it into Google Docs, reformatting everything, repeating this for slides, spreadsheets, emails, and proposals, and wasting a lot of time. Right? Whereas now you can just open Google Docs. Gemini's already there. It reads your Drive files automatically and your inbox. It writes content grounded in your actual business data that's fed in from Drive and Gemini and email. And then you can open slides and Gemini will build a fully editable deck, right? You can open sheets and Gemini creates trackers, calendars, and dashboards from plain English. You could open Google Drive and AI overview summarizes your entire business in one click, right? So that's basically it. I've also got 100 prompts that you can test, for example, for presentations, for data tracking, for content writing inside the AI Profit Boardroom. And then if you want to get the full framework and the 30-day plan and the roadmap, you can get it inside the video notes from today, right? So these all come with daily prompts for mastering this and new automations that you can use directly inside Google Workspace. Google just broke the internet. Again, the new Gemini update just dropped and it changes everything about how you use AI. Memory, chat import, no more starting over, ever. This is the update nobody saw coming, and it's going to save you hours every single week. Let's go. Okay, so picture this. You've been using ChatGPT for months. You've trained it. You've got your workflow dialed in, your content strategy, your tone, your audience, all of it saved in those chats. Then someone says, hey, try Gemini. And what happens? You lose everything. You start from zero again. That's been the biggest problem with switching AI tools. You lose all your context, all your history, all the work you put in. Google just fixed that. With this new Gemini update, you can now import your entire chat history from ChatGPT, Claude, or any other AI straight into Gemini. Your conversations, your context, your memory, all of it moves over. That's not a small update. That's a game changer. And there's more because Gemini now also has a memory feature. So it actually learns who you are, your style, your niche, your preferences. It remembers them automatically across every single conversation. You don't have to explain yourself every time. You just open Gemini and it already knows you. Two big things dropped in this update. Number one, memory. Gemini now remembers your past chats automatically. Every time you talk to it, it stores that context. So the next time you open Gemini, it already knows what you told it before. Say you told Gemini last week, hey, I make YouTube content about AI. I focus on beginner tutorials. My audience is small business owners. Next time you open Gemini, it already knows all of that. You don't type it again. You don't explain it again. It just knows. That's huge. Because right now, most people are copy pasting their context into every single chat like it's some kind of homework assignment. That stops now. And this isn't just about convenience. This is Gemini becoming something you actually want to use every day because it feels like it knows you. It feels personal. You can find this in your Gemini settings. Look for a personal context or memory. Turn it on. Done. Number 2, chat history import. This one is the one that's got everyone talking. You can now take your entire chat history from another AI, ChatGPT, Claude, doesn't matter, and import it directly into Gemini. You download your data as a zip file from whichever AI you're using, upload it into Gemini, and boom. Your conversations are there, your history is there, your context is there. You don't start from zero, you pick up exactly where you left off. There's also a manual method, Mike, where you copy and paste a specific prompt that loads your memory into Gemini. Either way works. Either way, you never have to start over again. And here's why that matters more than people realize. The number one reason people don't switch AI tools isn't the features, it's the friction. Starting over is painful. Rebuilding context is annoying. So people just stay where they are. Even if something better comes out, Google just removed that friction completely. Say you've been working on a YouTube content strategy inside ChatGPT. You've had 10 conversations about it. You've refined your titles, your hooks, your thumbnail ideas. All of that lives in your chat history. Old way, you'd have to manually copy all of that, paste it into Gemini, explain the context, hope it understands, waste 20 minutes just getting it up to speed. New way, you export your ChatGPT history, import it into Gemini, open a new chat, and say, continue the YouTube content strategy we were working on. And Gemini picks it up just like that. That's not a small quality of life improvement. That's saving real time, real energy, real effort every single week. And here's the thing, this isn't just useful for switching tools, it's useful for continuity. Because even inside Gemini, memory means you never have to re-explain yourself. You build on top of what you've already done. Think about what that means for your workflow. If you're creating content, Gemini already knows your niche, your audience, your tone. You just say, give me 5 video ideas. And it gives you 5 ideas that actually fit your channel, not generic ideas, your ideas. If you're running a business, Gemini already knows your services, your target client, your positioning. You say, write me an outreach email, all right? And it writes one that sounds like you, not like a robot. If you're doing SEO, and yeah, I've been in this game a long time, Gemini knowing your niche, your competitors, your link building strategy, that's like having an assistant who actually pays attention. This is what AI was always supposed to be. Not a tool you have to babysit, a tool that actually works with you. Now, here's what I want you to think about. We're in the middle of something big right now. Every major AI platform is in a race. ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, they all want to be your main AI, the one you use every day. And the way they win that race, memory, continuity, personalization, because the AI that knows you best, that's the AI you keep using. That's the AI you recommend to people. That's the AI that becomes part of your daily workflow. Google understands this, and this update is a direct move to win that war. They're not just adding features, they're making Gemini sticky. They're making it the AI you don't want to leave because it knows you too well. That's smart, that's strategic, and honestly, it's the right move. So what do you actually do with this right now? Step 1, go to Gemini, turn on memory in your settings. Let it start learning you. Step 2, if you've been using ChatGPT or another AI and you've got history you care about, export it, import it into Gemini, pick up where you left off. Step 3, start using Gemini in your daily workflow. Give it context, let it learn. The more you use it, the smarter it gets about who you are and what you need. It's not complicated. It's just about starting, because the people who start now, who build that memory layer early, are going to have a massive advantage. 6 months from now, they're going to have an AI that knows everything about their business, their content, their strategy, and everyone else is still going to be copying and pasting context into every chat like it's 2023. Don't be that person. This is genuinely one of the most exciting updates we've seen this year. Memory plus chat import. These two things together completely change what Gemini can do for you. No more starting over, no more losing context, no more repeating yourself. Just an AI that actually knows you, that works with you, that gets better over time. That's what this update is. And if you're not using Gemini after watching this, You're leaving real time on the table. So Google just went crazy. They dropped 4 massive updates to Gemini all at once. And the best part, they're all free. Now, most people have no idea these exist yet. So if you're watching this right now, you're already ahead of like 99% of people. Let me break down every single one. First up, Gemini 3.1 Pro. This is the big one. Google basically upgraded the brain of Gemini. The core AI model just got way smarter. We're talking better reasoning, better answers, better at handling hard stuff. Like if you asked old Gemini a tricky question, it might fumble. Now 3.1 Pro just gets it. It thinks deeper, it connects dots faster, and the answers are more accurate. Now here's what makes this cool for you. This isn't just in one place. You can use 3.1 Pro in the Gemini app on your phone. You can use it in Notebook LM. You can use it through the API if you're a developer. It's everywhere. And free users get access. So what does this actually mean in real life? Let me give you an example. Say you're trying to plan a marketing campaign. Old Gemini would give you a decent outline. 3.1 Pro gives you a full strategy with reasoning behind every step. It's like going from a good intern to a senior strategist. Same tool, way better brain. And here's an open loop for you. The next update I'm about to show you literally lets you make music with AI, like real music with vocals for free. Google built a music AI called Lyria 3 and they put it right inside Gemini. You type in a prompt like give me a chill lo-fi beat with soft vocals and it makes you a 30-second track right there. Done. But wait, it gets crazier. You don't just have to use text. You can upload a photo or a video, and Lyria 3 will make music that matches the vibe. Think about that for a second. You take a photo of a sunset, upload it, and you get a custom soundtrack that fits perfectly. That's insane. And the tracks aren't just beats. They can have lyrics. They can have vocals. They even come with custom cover art. Google also adds something called Synthid, which is like an invisible watermark. So people know it's AI made, which is smart. And this is already rolling into YouTube Dream Track too. So if you're a YouTube creator, this is huge. Now imagine this, you're making a YouTube short. Instead of spending 30 minutes finding royalty-free music, you just tell Gemini what you want, boom, custom track in seconds. That saves you so much time. Okay, now this next one. Number 3, this is where it gets really practical for anyone selling anything online. And I mean anything. If you have a product, if you run a store, if you do e-commerce, pay attention. At Google Labs just dropped a tool called Pomeli. And inside Pomeli, there's a new feature called Photo Shoot. Here's how it works. You take one photo of your product, just one, upload it. And Pomeli turns it into studio quality marketing photos, multiple angles, different backgrounds, lifestyle shots, campaign ready visuals, all from one single image. So let's say you sell candles, you take a photo of your candle on your kitchen table, upload it to Pomeli, and now you've got that candle on a marble countertop with perfect lighting, on a cozy bookshelf, in a gift box setting, professional level stuff, without a studio, without a photographer. This is built on Google's image models, and it's available through Google Labs right now. For small business owners and creators, this is a game changer. You can literally produce ad quality product photos in minutes. Notebook LM just got supercharged. If you don't know what Notebook LM is, let me explain real quick. It's basically a smart research tool from Google. You throw in your notes, your documents, your research, and it organizes everything for you. It makes summaries, it finds connections. It's like having a research assistant that never sleeps. Now, here's what's new. Notebook LM now lets you make slide decks from your notes, and not just basic slides. You can use prompts to revise them. So you say, make slide 3 more detailed, or simplify slide 5, and it does it. Then you export the whole thing as a PowerPoint file. Done. Think about how much time this saves. You're prepping a presentation. Normally, you'd spend hours building slides. Now you dump your notes into Notebook LM. It builds the deck. You tweak it with prompts, export, done in minutes. They also added a featured notebook for homebuyers through Zillow, which shows you how powerful this tool is getting. It's not just for tech people, it's for everyone. Planning a project, building a course, Notebook LM handles it. Now, let me give you some quick tips on how to combine all of these together, because that's where the real magic happens. Tip 1. Use Lyria 3 to make custom soundtracks for your YouTube shorts. Stop wasting time hunting for music. Just tell Gemini what you want. Tip 2, use Pomeli Photo Shoot for all your product images, whether it's for your website, your ads, or your social media. One photo turns into a whole campaign. Tip 3, use Notebook LM to turn your scripts and notes into slide decks. If you teach online or do webinars, this alone saves you hours every week. Tip 4, use Gemini 3.1 Pro for everything else. planning, writing, strategy, research. The upgraded brain makes every task faster and better. And here's the thing, all of this is free. Every single tool I just showed you, free. Google is basically handing you a full creative studio and a smart assistant and saying, here you go, use it. Most people won't. Most people will scroll past this and keep doing things the slow way, but you're still here, which means you're different. You can say something like nostalgic Afrobeat about childhood memories, and it will create a track with lyrics, with vocals, with a mood that matches what you asked for. It even generates cover art automatically. This is not a toy, this is a real tool. Now, before I go further, I want to flag something important. This is still in beta. That means Google is still rolling it out. Not everyone has access yet, but it is live inside the Gemini app, and it's available to try right now if you've got access. Let me walk you through how it actually works. You open up the Gemini app, you go to the music generation feature, and then you have a few ways to use it. Option 1, text prompt. You just type in a description of the music you want, style, mood, tempo, lyrics, theme, all of it. The model reads your prompt and generates a track. Option 2, you upload a photo or a video. Lyria 3 will read the mood of that media and match the music to it. So if you upload a sunny beach video, it's going to give you something light, upbeat, maybe acoustic. If you upload a dark, moody shot, you're getting something different entirely. And here's the part that I think a lot of people are sleeping on. You get controls. You can adjust the style, the vocals, the tempo, the mood. So you're not just hitting generate and hoping for the best. You have real input over what comes out. Now, here's something that matters a lot if you're creating content professionally. Every single track that comes out of Lyria 3 has something called Synthid watermarking built in. This is Google's AI detection system. Cinematic, dramatic, build intention, orchestral with modern electronic elements, 15 to 30 seconds. For a calm explainer video, soft acoustic background music, slow tempo, warm and friendly, no lyrics, suitable for a tutorial here. For a high energy short form clip, trap beat, fast hype, modern punchy, no vocals. For a brand story video, emotional, piano-led, inspiring, slow build, hopeful tone. These are all real prompts you can drop into Lyria 3 right now, test them, see what it gives you, adjust the controls, regenerate, you'll find something usable in minutes. Now let me talk about the lyrics feature because this is interesting. Why does this matter? Two reasons. One, it's copyright safe. Lyria 3 does not copy artists. It doesn't mimic specific musicians in a way that would get you in legal trouble. The outputs are original, you can use them. Two, is transparent. The watermark is there so that if anyone ever checks, they know this was made by AI. In a world where AI content rules are changing fast, that kind of transparency is actually a good thing. Now let me show you some real examples of how you'd use this. And I'm going to make this practical because that's the whole point. Let's say you're creating content for the AI Profit Boardroom, which is the best community out there right now for scaling your business and getting more customers with AI automation. If you haven't checked it out yet, I'll get to that in a second. You're making a promo video, you need background music that feels exciting, modern, forward-thinking, something that says AI is the future and you need to be part of this. You'd open Gemini, go to Lyria 3 and type something like upbeat, energetic, modern electronic track with a motivational feel, fast tempo, no lyrics for a business promo video. And it builds it in seconds, custom, copyright safe, ready to use. Or let's say you're making a short form video breaking down an AI automation strategy for your audience. You upload a screen recording of a workflow you've built. Lyria 3 reads the visual, clean, techie, professional, and matches music to the mood automatically. That saves you hours. You don't have to go trawl through stock music libraries. You don't have to pay for a subscription to a music licensing site. You generate it, it's done. Now I want to pause here for a second because I think there's a bigger picture point worth making. We are at a moment right now where almost every part of content creation can be automated or assisted by AI, writing, images, video, and now music. The gap between people who know how to use these tools and people who don't is getting bigger every single week. If you're watching this video, you're already ahead of most people, but knowing about the tool is not the same as actually building it into your workflow. When you turn on vocals, Lyria 3 will auto-generate lyrics based on your prompt. So if you say, write an upbeat song about building your dream business from scratch, it's going to give you lyrics, not perfect, not always what you'd write yourself, but usable, editable, a starting point. For short content, Reels, TikToks, YouTube Shorts, this could be genuinely useful. You could have a branded audio piece with lyrics that you use consistently. That kind of recognizable audio is actually a smart brand play because platforms like TikTok and Instagram reward content that uses distinctive sound. And again, All of this is copyright safe. No artist is getting mimicked. You own the output. You can use it. One more thing I want to flag before I wrap up. The cover art, when Lyria 3 generates a track, it also generates cover art to match. Now, I know what you're thinking, why does that matter for video content? And honestly, for most use cases, it doesn't. But if you're making podcast episodes, audio content, or anything where you need a visual thumbnail to go with a music file, this is a nice touch. It's all in one place. So let me summarize what Lyria 3 gives you. Text to music generation, 30-second custom tracks, auto-generated lyrics when you want them, photo and video to music matching, style, tempo, mood, vocal controls, SynthID watermarking for transparency and legal safety, auto-generated cover art, all of this inside the Gemini app, beta right now. Free to try if you have access. This is genuinely useful, not hype. Real utility for anyone creating content for a business, a brand, or a personal channel. And if you want to stay ahead of every update like this, every tool, every workflow, every AI move that matters for growing your business, that's what we track inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Every week, we're breaking down the tools that are actually worth your time. So Gemini 3.1 Pro is insane. Google just dropped Gemini 3.1 Pro, and the internet is losing its mind. This thing is twice as smart as the last version, not a little better, twice. It thinks, it reasons, it figures stuff out like a real person. And it handles text, images, audio, video, and code all at the same time. No extra tools, no switching apps, one model, everything. On benchmarks right now, it is beating the competition, and it costs less to run. Google went full beast mode with this one. I am going to show you exactly what it does, why it matters, and how to use it to grow your business. Real prompts, real examples, stuff you can copy and use today. By the end of this video, you are going to know more about Gemini 3.1 Pro. Okay, so Gemini 3.1 Pro, Google just released it, and I want to break it down as simply as possible because there is a lot of noise out there and not a lot of signal. I am going to cut through all of that and just tell you what actually matters and what you can actually use. Deal? Let's do it. What is Gemini 3.1 Pro? Gemini 3.1 Pro is Google's most powerful AI model right now. It is their flagship, their best. And this version, 3.1, is a major step up from version 3.0. The headline number is this: more than 2x better at reasoning. That is not a small upgrade. That is a completely different level of thinking. What does that actually mean? It means this model does not just answer questions. It works through problems. It plans. It connects ideas. It thinks step by step like a smart person who actually understands what you're asking, not just a tool that pattern matches to give you a generic answer. And it is not just text. Gemini 3.1 Pro handles text, images, audio, video, and code all together in one model natively. No extra plugins, no gluing tools together. One model does all of it at once. That is a big deal. And most people do not realize how rare that actually is. Why it matters? Here is why this changes things. Most AI tools are good at one thing: write me a blog post, generate some code, summarize this document. Fine. But Gemini 3.1 Pro connects the dots between all of it. You can give it an image and ask a question about it. You can drop in a long document and ask it to reason through a strategy. You can show it a competitor's page and ask it to build you a better one. That is a completely different category of useful. And on top of that, the context window on this model is around 1 million tokens. That is enormous. You can paste in an entire book, a full code base, hours of transcripts, and it holds all of it. It remembers all of it. It works across all of it without losing the thread. For anyone doing research, writing long-form content, or building AI systems into their business, that is massive. Let me show you how to actually use Gemini 3.1 Pro with real prompts you can steal right now. I am going to use the AI Profit Boardroom as the example because it is real, it is practical, and it shows you exactly how you would do this in your own business. First example, content strategy. Let's say you want to grow the AI Profit Boardroom's YouTube channel and get more subscribers. You open Gemini 3.1 Pro and you type, "You are a YouTube growth strategist. Create a 90-day content plan for a community called AI Profit Boardroom." It helps entrepreneurs use AI automation to grow their businesses. The goal is to grow subscribers and build authority, include video topics, hooks, and a posting schedule. That's it. And what comes back is not a generic list. It reasons through what that specific audience wants to watch, what topics will grow the channel, and how to structure the calendar. That would take a strategist hours. Gemini does it in seconds. The second example, sales copy. You want more people to join the AI Profit Boardroom. You type, Write a high converting landing page for a community called AI Profit Boardroom. It has 40,000 members who use AI automation to grow their businesses. Speak to entrepreneurs who feel behind on AI and want a simple system to stay ahead. Use short, punchy sentences and focus on the transformation. Gemini does not just write words. It thinks through the buyer psychology, structures the page properly, and gives you copy you can actually use. Third example, this is where the multimodal stuff gets wild. You take a screenshot of a competitor's landing page, you upload it to Gemini 3.1 Pro, then you type, analyze this landing page, what is working, what is missing. Now write a better version for the AI Profit Boardroom that would outperform this one. It looks at the image, it reads the content, it reasons through the strategy, then it builds you a better version. That is not just AI, that is like having a full creative team in one tool. Where to get it and how to start, right? So where do you actually access Gemini 3.1 Pro? If you are not a developer, start with the Gemini app. Go to gemini.google.com. If you are on the Pro or Enterprise tier, you will get access. That is the easiest entry point. If you are a developer, Google AI Studio is where you want to be. You can test the model, use the API, and build it into your own products. Vertex AI is for teams and larger businesses building AI into their workflows at scale. And if you work in the terminal, there is Gemini CLI 2. Pick the one that fits where you are right now and just start. Do not overthink it. One use case, one workflow, see what it does, then build from there. What is coming next? Here is the thing that gets me genuinely excited about this. Gemini 3.1 Pro is not just a standalone model. Google is weaving it into everything. Search, Notebook LM, Workspace, the tools millions of people use every day are about to get this reasoning power built directly in. Imagine Google Docs understanding the full context of your business and helping you write with that in mind. Imagine search that actually reasons through your query instead of just matching keywords. That is where this is heading, and it is coming faster than most people think. The businesses that understand this now and start building AI workflows today are going to be so far ahead of the ones who wait. All right, 2 things before you go, and I will keep it short. First, if you want to go deeper with tools like Gemini 3.1 Pro, Google Gemini new free updates are insane. So Google just dropped some crazy free updates to Gemini, and I'm talking game-changing stuff here. We've got AI that builds entire worlds, Chrome getting superpowers, and students getting free test prep. This is wild. Let's dive in. So Google just released 6 massive updates to Gemini. And the best part, most of this stuff is completely free. I'm going to break down each one so you can start using them today. No fluff, just what matters. First up is Project Genie, and this one is absolutely nuts. Imagine typing a few words and watching an entire world build itself right in front of you. That's what Project Genie does. It's a world building AI engine. You give it a text prompt or even an image, and it creates full interactive environments. Here's how it works. You describe what you want. It could be a forest, a city, a fantasy realm, anything. Then you pick a character. And here's the cool part. You can explore by walking, driving, or even flying. The world builds itself as you move through it. In real time. This isn't some pre-made video game map. This is AI generating everything on the fly based on what you asked for. Want to explore a cyberpunk city? Done. Want to walk through ancient ruins? Easy. The possibilities are endless. Now think about what this means. Game developers can prototype worlds in minutes instead of months. Teachers can create immersive learning environments. Brands can build virtual showrooms. And you can just mess around and create whatever world you want. Project Genie is still in early testing, but it shows where AI is heading. We're not just generating text anymore, we're generating entire experiences. Okay, next update, Gemini in Chrome. This one's already rolling out to some users. Back to Gemini in Chrome. Google added a side panel to the browser. Your AI assistant now lives right there while you browse. No more switching tabs, no more copying and pasting between windows. You can highlight text on any website and ask Gemini questions about it, get instant summaries, compare information across multiple pages, all without leaving what you're doing. They also integrated something called Nano Banana. It's a lightweight AI model that runs locally on your device, super fast, works even with slow internet, and keeps your data private since it's not sending everything to the cloud. Now let's talk about Alpha Genome. This one's more technical but super important. Google just open sourced the Alpha Genome model. That means researchers anywhere can now access the code and the trained AI weights. What does Alpha Genome do? It understands DNA, like really understands it. This AI can analyze genetic sequences and help scientists figure out how genes work, what causes diseases, how to develop treatments. Before this, only Google's team could use it. Now it's available to research labs worldwide for free. This is huge for medical research. Smaller labs that couldn't afford to build their own AI can now use cutting-edge tools. Universities can teach students with real AI models. Developing countries can access the same tech as major institutions. We're talking about accelerating research into cancer, genetic disorders, aging, and so much more. All because Google decided to share instead of keeping it locked up. If you're not in science, this might not affect you directly. But the treatments and discoveries that come from this, those will impact everyone. D4RT, this stands for 4D video representation, and it's next level computer vision. Most AI sees images as flat pictures. Even video AI just processes frames one by one. D4RT is different. It understands 3D space and time together. Think about it like this. When you watch someone throw a ball, your brain tracks the ball's path through space over time. You predict where it'll land. D4RT gives AI that same ability. Why does this matter? Better self-driving cars that understand how objects move, robots that can navigate complex environments, video editing tools that can track and modify objects across entire scenes, sports analysis that breaks down player movements in 3D. D4RT is still in research phase, but Google's publishing papers and demos, which means we'll see real products using this soon. Next up, agentic vision. This is rolling out to the Gemini API right now, and it's a major upgrade to how Gemini handles images. Here's what changed. Before, if you gave Gemini an image, it would describe it, maybe answer questions about it. Now with agentic vision, it can write code based on what it sees in images. Let me give you an example. You take a screenshot of a website layout you like, upload it to Gemini, ask it to recreate that layout in code. Agentic vision analyzes the image, understands the structure, and generates HTML and CSS. Or you photograph a handwritten diagram, maybe a flowchart for a process. Gemini can convert that into actual working code or a digital version. This works in Google AI Studio and Vertex AI right now, and it's coming to the regular Gemini app soon. For developers, this is massive. Prototype faster. Turn sketches into code. Debug visual issues by showing Gemini what's wrong instead of describing it. For non-coders, this opens up automation. Take photos of forms and have Gemini extract the data, show it your workflow, and get automated scripts. The possibilities keep growing. Last update. This one's specifically for students in India, but it shows where Google's heading with education. Gemini now offers full-length JEE main mock tests, completely free inside the app. JEE is the big entrance exam for engineering colleges in India. Millions of students take it every year. These aren't just practice questions, they're full-time tests that simulate the real exam. And after you finish, Gemini gives you immediate feedback, shows your strengths and weaknesses, explains wrong answers, suggests what to study next. Now they get personalized AI tutoring for free. This is just the start. Google's testing this in India, but imagine this expanding: free SAT prep, free GMAT practice, AI tutors for every subject and every test. Education is changing fast. AI is making high quality learning accessible to everyone, not just people who can afford private tutors. And here's what's crazy. Most of this is free. Google's pushing hard to make Gemini competitive with ChatGPT and Claude. That competition is great for us. We get better tools faster. Now, here's what you should do. Go try Gemini if you haven't already. Test the Chrome integration if you have access. Play with the API if you're technical. See what fits your workflow. These tools only help if you actually use them. Don't just watch videos about AI. Go build something, automate something, create something. Reasoning, effort, control. You pick how hard Gemini thinks with one simple command. Fast answers or deep planning, you choose. This changes everything. All right, Google just rolled out something insane in Gemini, and most people are completely missing it. It's a power user feature that lets you control how hard Gemini thinks. You type one simple command and boom. You get exactly the speed or depth you need. No more guessing which model is running. No more clicking through menus. Just pure control right from the chat bar. Let me show you exactly how this works and why this is about to change how you use AI forever. So here's what Google did. They added 3 shortcuts at Fast, at Thinking, and at Pro. You type these right in the chat bar before your prompt. At Fast gives you quick, lightweight responses. Perfect for simple stuff. At Thinking goes deeper. It plans things out. It reasons through complex problems. And at Pro is the beast mode. Highest quality, most reasoning power. but it's usually quota limited because it uses so much compute. This is keyboard first. You never have to click a single menu. You just type it faster at thinking and you're good to go. And here's the crazy part. This looks like the start of something way bigger. Google is testing tool call style shortcuts too, things like @search to trigger Google search automatically, @code for code execution, @image for generating images. It's not fully rolled out yet, but the evidence is there in the code. Let me break down why this matters so much. Before this update, you had no idea which model Gemini was using. Sometimes it felt fast, sometimes it felt slow. You just had to hope it was doing what you needed. Now you decide. You tell Gemini exactly how hard to think. This is a workflow level upgrade. It's not just a nice feature. It changes how you build with AI. Here's how I use it in the AI Profit Boardroom. When I need to write quick social media posts for our community, I use it fast. Type it fast and then write 3 Twitter posts about AI automation for business owners. Boom, done in seconds. Simple, clean, fast. But when I'm planning our entire content strategy for the month, I switch to @thinking, type @thinking, and then create a 30-day content plan for AI Profit Boardroom, covering automation workflows for agencies. Now, Gemini takes its time, it plans, it thinks through the strategy, it gives me a full roadmap. And when I need something really heavy, like designing a complete automation system for client onboarding, I go Pro, type Pro, and then build a step-by-step automation workflow for onboarding new AI Profit Boardroom members, including email sequences, funnel setup, and community access. This is where Gemini goes all in, deep analysis, multiple steps. The difference between @fast and @thinking isn't just about speed, it's about token budget and reasoning steps. When you use @thinking, Gemini actually shows its work. You can see it planning, you can see it breaking down the problem into steps. It's like watching the AI think in real time. This is huge for complex tasks where you need to understand the logic behind the answer. With @fast, you just get the answer. With @thinking, you get the answer plus the reasoning. And with @pro, you get the full deep dive. This is similar to how the Gemini API works with reasoning effort parameters like low, medium, and high, but now you have that power right in the chat interface. No API needed, no coding required. Just type the command and go. Let me show you the exact strategy for when to use each mode. This is the power user breakdown. @fast is for facts, quick rewrites, simple questions, anything where you just need an answer right now. Don't use it for complex planning or debugging or creative strategy. It's too light for that. @thinking is for planning, logic puzzles, multi-step tasks, content outlines, video scripts, SEO strategies, anything where you need Gemini to actually think through the problem. Don't waste it on simple questions where you want speed. And @pro is for deep analysis. Code reviews, architecture design, long-form content, complex automation workflows. Don't waste your quota on trivial stuff. Here's my workflow hack. Always start with @fast. Try the quick version first. If the answer isn't good enough, escalate to @thinking and only go to @pro when you absolutely need the full power. This saves you quota and keeps you moving fast. For the AI Profit Boardroom, I use @thinking for all our training content outlines. I'll type @thinking and then outline a complete training module on email automation using AI, including key concepts, examples, and action steps. Gemini gives me a full structured outline ready to record. For our landing pages, I use @pro, type @pro, and then write high converting landing page copy for AI Profit Boardroom that explains the value of AI automation, shows real results, and gets people to join our community. This is where @pro shines. It thinks through the psychology, the flow, the conversion points, everything. Now, here's where this gets really interesting. Google is building something way bigger behind the scenes. There's evidence of tool call style shortcuts in testing. Imagine typing @search, and Gemini automatically pulls live Google results, or @code and it runs actual code for you, or @image and it generates images on the fly. This isn't confirmed yet, but the code is there. The testing is happening. This is Google's answer to agentic workflows. They're building a shortcut-driven assistant layer. Think about what this means. Right now, you have to manually tell AI tools what to do. Search this, run this code, generate this image. But with shortcuts, it's automatic. You type one command and Gemini handles the rest. This is how power users will work in 2026. Quick commands, fast execution, no clicking, no menus, just pure speed. And this ties into other Gemini features too. There's Gemini Gems, which are like reusable mini apps for specific workflows, and Gemini Code Assist, which lets you pin context to specific code bases using our repo name. Google is building an entire ecosystem around this at Command Syntax. Everything is moving toward keyboard first shortcuts. Let me give you a real example from the AI Profit Boardroom. Right now, when I want to create a new automation workflow for our members, I have to switch between tools. I search for best practices, I write the outline, I generate the code, I test it. But with these shortcuts, I could theoretically type at search best AI automation workflows for online communities, then at thinking plan a custom workflow for AI Profit Boardroom, then at code generate the automation script, all in one conversation, all with simple commands. This is the future. And most people are sleeping on it because they don't even know these shortcuts exist. Google didn't announce this in a big press release. They just quietly rolled it out. Power users are finding it. Everyone else is missing it. That's why you're watching this video right now. You're ahead of the curve. So here's what you need to do. Go to Gemini right now, open the chat bar, try out fast with a simple question. Then try at thinking with something complex like planning a content calendar or building an automation workflow for your business. See the difference, feel how much control you have, then start building this into your daily workflow. Use it fast for quick tasks, at thinking for planning, at pro for the heavy stuff. If you want the full process, the SOPs, the prompt templates, and over 100 AI use cases, just like this one, you need to join the AI Profit Boardroom. It's where serious business owners are using AI to work smarter, grow faster, and automate the stuff that used to eat their time. The link is in the description. Go check it out right now. And if you want to start for free, join the AI Success Lab, our free community of over 40,000 members who are already crushing it with AI. You'll get all the video notes from this course, access to our community, and a library of resources you can start using today. Links are in the comments and description. See you inside.